But Reese, will come to you. 3 South African games, 3 South African losses, a step too far, a lot of excuses going around about travel and stuff like that. But I think at the end of the day, what I was saying is I think quarterfinals was probably about where we are as sides. The travel and the logistics are always going to catch up at a point. And but I don't think we should be ashamed of our first campaign in Europe across both the Champions and the Challenge Cup.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's you've hit the nail on the head there for me. And there is a lot of whining and groaning going on, and a lot of defense from the European media, especially about how much we've moaned about it. And to be very fair, I think that we were outplayed all across the board, unfortunately. And it's just turned out that we just weren't good enough. And to be very honest, there's a lot of excuses about lethargy and management of schedules and reffing and all sorts of nonsense, which we'll get into in a little bit. But at the end of the day, like you said, it's not a complete blowout. I think that going into it, realistically, we were all expecting the other European sides to be better than their respective South African matchups. And I think it's turned out exactly how it should have, to be very honest. And if we had got any of those results, it probably should have been seen as an upset.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, like I said, I think the big thing obviously being that every single home team basically won last weekend, sort of highlighting the home ground advantage. But the Lions were, as usual, holding the South African, flag high and boldly trying to go where other teams didn't go. Rian, we'll go to you. Close but no cigar. But to be perfectly honest, I look back at that and think that's actually one that got away, as opposed to us not being good enough. You look at the stats, you look at the way we played in the game, and the Lions definitely could have won that game.
Yeah, it was great to see them put up a good fight. They defended much better than their compatriots, that's for sure. Especially Glasgow, the way they've been playing, they wouldn't be out of place in the big boy competition in the Champions Cup as well. So I was proud of the way they came along, but as well, same as all the other stuff, it's an away game. It looks like home advantage in this competition is everything. And it was just maybe a bridge too far. I think just one flight too many and one game too many. And also the Glasgow Warriors had a lot of their internationals back and fresh. And I think we did pretty well. Would have liked to win, but we can be proud of where we got to. I don't think anyone expected the Lions to be in the knockouts.
Yeah, look, I think, and it's interesting that we talk about Lions being the knockout stuff like that, and now we're going to talk the theme of the show. We're going to talk about it a bit when we start looking this weekend, is obviously going to the playoffs, and they're in there with a little bit of a shout, but Chris, from you, what positives can we take away? We talked about the experience of playing in these situations, playing in these sort of playoff games, stuff like that, and maybe something that a lot of these teams haven't done enough recently. But how much can we look at this entire sort of tournament of the last couple of months, and how much value do you think that's brought to our unions and to South African rugby in general?
Yeah, I think I might be a little bit more negative here. I think it's too much to ask to play URC and this competition. I know we're not going to say it's an excuse, but it's too much. You could see our teams ran out of steam, and I think one thing I noticed quite hectically was Dobbo before the Exeter game. He basically said they hadn't trained, they had no preparation, and I'm thinking to myself, big quarterfinal game, you had no preparation as a rugby player. You can't come in rearing to go, So I think for us, Stormers, it was also just very bizarre, everything about that game and how they looked. Sharks came out firing, which Stormers didn't, but they also ran out their legs. And of course, the Lions, I think they're better away side than home side. They seem to give up a good fight, and Glasgow are a very decent team at home. I enjoy it. I love the Heineken Cup. I think the semi-finals are the right teams there. But I don't know if it works, us having to play these two competitions going back and forth 7-8 times a season. I think to me it's ridiculous. I want us to be there, but I don't know. I don't have the answer, Steve, how we sort that out.
Yeah, I think a big thing is a lot more money, so that you talk about, I said, Dobbo not having the training sessions, and that was largely due to all of the travel issues that the Stormers had. And you said that it's an interesting one to try and get right, because it is a long haul flight, but at the end of the day, we've got to try and move to a situation where it doesn't have to be a long haul flight. If you know who your opposition is, let's say you know, you play on a Friday night. By Saturday, it's confirmed. You know, we need to be in a position where these teams are ready to fly out on a Sunday or Monday night and be there first thing Tuesday morning. So that you've got a full Tuesday to recover, Wednesday and Thursday, Friday. You can have a training session Wednesday, Thursday off, and a captain's run on Friday. So I think that the logistics obviously do seem to be the biggest obstacle. And it's a frustrating reason. And you don't want to talk about it too much, but yeah, I agree. I think at this stage, it's just not working with the 24-hour journeys via Qatar, various different places. It's getting far too. Yeah. It's far too onerous to be spending 2-3 days traveling, and you know, as I said, I think Stormers only left on Wednesday or Tuesday night. I think it was
late Tuesday. I think.
Yeah. But they got there that one day that obviously they didn't even have that rundown session, not even a training session. And I think I'm sure you guys all played sport, right? I mean, when you're preparing for that big derby game on the weekend against your rivals, that whole week is big. And if you're like worried about flights and airports and cramped up in economy and how can you be ready for a big quarter final like that? I don't want to make an excuse, but Stormers didn't want to play that game. I don't know. Something was worse than the travel in that squad on Saturday. I don't know if it was missing Dion for real or what, but the body language was just so bad. Very strange.
Yeah, it was a very uncharacteristic Stormers performance because they're not a side that usually lie down and give up, and they were never at the races throughout the entire game. Which is sad, because I think that if they were at the race, I think they could have given Exeter a good go. Look, I do think Exeter played particularly well. I thought that I've watched a couple of times, and it wasn't the same sort of exercise that I'd seen. So sometimes you do just come right at the right moments and make a bit of a late charge. But
watch Exeter beat what's the name and make it to the final.
Yeah,
the way they've been going.
Dare to dream. Stuart Hobbs retiring. This is his last campaign. Imagine he goes and wins the Champions Cup.
But the ironic thing is Exeter was supposed to be the tired team right after that mammoth game against Montpellier. And it was us that looked like we played 3 games 2 hours before.
Yeah, just to lump on that, I just think that I know it's a home game for them, but at the end of the day, it's not always going to be that situation, and everyone's going to have to travel at some point. And you know, we wanted to be there, so the excuses can't come from us. We cannot sit back and say, well, you know, it was the first campaign and you got it wrong or whatever, because that's not what the Stormers are doing. They're simply saying, well, all these things went against us, and it's like, well, take a bit of accountability, you know.
I think Dobbo said he won't play in travel. He said
Dobbo was very clear. He basically came out and said, no, we didn't pitch up.
Our tactics were wrong. I let the team down. He didn't say
but what I mean is that it should be more forthcoming than that and go, well, actually, Dobbo, you didn't just get it wasn't just a case of like, oh, a couple of flights went wrong and we were late. You guys stuffed up. Like, you actually stuffed up the travel from a logistical point of view. You messed up. And so while you're not blaming the travel, you can say that it was a factor and a personal stuff up on your side.
But I think, guys, we haven't traveled well the whole season. Let's be fair. We said this before. Like, this was we were trying to call the games. I said we haven't traveled, so now another one. This was worried me that this was going to happen. Not as bad as it did. That was a bit sad to see, but it was really worrying me.
Yeah, and I think the whole traveling part's very interesting. And also, it's also interesting enough is that it wasn't just a case of the South African side struggling away from home. You know, all the sides that played away, all the sides played at home, had that home ground advantage.
Harlequins got smashed over here. I mean, to lose with South Africa, would it have gone that same way? You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Stormers the Exeter Chiefs at the Cape Town Stadium. I think it'll be a very different result. So what'll be interesting then for me is from the competition perspective is how many years will we ever be able to get it right where we will be able to play our semi-finals here, and will there, because obviously the finals and stuff are often predetermined. You know, they decide where the venue is before at the beginning of the season. You know, will we see a Heineken Cup final in South Africa? You know, and how long is it going to take for us to start being able to sit at the table and not just be the guest at the table and actually sit there and say, right, no, actually we're in here. You know, we're bringing you in this competition. We're part of this competition. We want to have home finals. We want to make sure that, you know, if our teams are doing well and are getting good seasons, that we can get home semi-finals, because that's, regardless of just the travelling, that is, at the end of the day, our home final is always going to be a best chance. Look at the Lions 3 Super Rugby finals in a row. Everyone always looks at the home one saying, that's the one they should have won. And it was the one they should have won. But
you got to bring that up. More therapy sessions now, thanks.
Well, I mean, sorry,
go. Just from that point of view, I just think that we are not far away from getting that. I think that we, as the unions, came in and said, "Well, we're happy to play this game for you, just as long as you let us in," you know. And at the end of the day, we've come in and we've shown in terms of viewership, and the thing that really matters for these guys is the money aspect. And so I think after the successful first season in terms of attendances and so on, and maybe another 2 seasons, 1 or 2, and I'm sure that the unions will be sitting down and saying, well, listen, guys, you can see what we're bringing to the table in terms of the stuff that you actually want. It's time we get a seat at the table. I don't think we're going to be sitting here in 5 years talking about still wanting playoff games in South Africa. That's just my view.
Yeah, but do you remember the New Zealand sides? I mean, they used to come over, scale a semi-final, and bugger off home across the wrong side of the world often. You know, they could do it. So I'm not sure
Stormers
why
and
we
Chiefs.
battle.
It's always those 2 teams. Doesn't matter which competition you're in. The
Yeah.
Chiefs knock the Stormers out in the quarters.
We're just notoriously bad travellers.
Oh, well, let's not forget that Cape Town is basically New Zealand home territory anyway. So
you make a very good point. That's interesting. It's an interesting concept, you know, the fact that we don't travel particularly well. What would be interesting for me is if we start seeing rugby become far more global in terms of people not just leaving South African shores but actually coming back after a few years. And I'm hoping we kind of get into that way. I've got no issue with players going overseas. What we'd like to see is almost a bit like what you see in football, where once a player goes overseas, it's not like, oh, well, he's overseas. It's you could do a 2-year stint in the Premiership or a 2-year stint in the top 14. You can come back to a couple of years, go to Japan, and hopefully start seeing a far more sort of globalization where players are jet setters and going sort of everywhere all the time. It'll be interesting if that does start to happen, if that will help us travel a bit better, where you've got players who are not going to France for the first time and players who have played in these various leagues against some of these teams in these sort of conditions, and how that'll make, hopefully that's kind of what everybody was sort of saying was the silver lining of us going to Europe, is that people were hoping that we then become a better team in Europe, but we're still struggling to travel there.
It's the first time, eh? Let's maybe 2-3 years, maybe we adjust, we get used to it. I think we can do it. Look at the URC, we started really badly, ended up making the final. So I think this is a betting period. This was awakening. This was like, okay, we want to be serious contenders in this
logistics guys don't know who to talk to at the airport in France.
People sitting saying you need this visa. Like, what visa? Who's got a visa? What's going on here?
25 years to sort out all those little things in Super Rugby.
They're looking at the size of the Heathrow and they're just panicking. Like, I don't know what terminal to be in. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where I am. As far east to travel to one of the 4 airports in New Zealand. Right, so the 3 teams are out, and a bit frustrating, but it is what it is. But now I think we turn to the real big thing, because at the end of the day, someone made a good point, and they said us being in the Champions Cup is far more about us being in the Champions Cup than actually doing well in the Champions Cup from a financial point of view. Being in the competition gives you that financial boost, rather than actually getting to semis or finals and stuff like that. So now we're back in the URC, and we've got 3 teams currently in the top 8. Now, it's obviously not as simple as just saying if you get top 8, then you guarantee qualification Champions Cup, because there's places available to the winner of the URC. If you win the champion, I don't think there's no teams that are still in the Champions Cup that are in the URC outside the top 8. But yeah, and obviously I think there's a guarantee that it has to be a Welsh side in there as well. So it's not quite as simple as that. But we do have 3 South African teams in the top 8 currently. The Lions, I think, were given by the URC an 18% chance of
not zero.
Well, that's literally why I went to the article, because I was like, what do they reckon? Yeah, because I was like,
I saw the same article.
But now it's and there's no excuses either. There's 2 weeks of 2 home games for all 4 unions. Stormers are just, for me, I mean, they're basically just making sure they're going to cement that second spot, get that home semi-final, and then if they can win that, get to go over and try and beat Leinster in Ireland. But for the Bulls and the Sharks, well, the Bulls, they won last week in the Currie Cup, but before that, they haven't won a URC game since January. The Sharks, it wasn't a bad result against Toulouse, and they won the week before, but they've also had their struggles. Rian, how do you see us going back to the URC here? What sort of chance are you giving us to still have 3 teams in the Champions Cup next season?
I think the Sharks, they're playing Benetton this weekend. They should. Well, we've said that so many times this year. they should win this easily, and then they take 35 points to 0 against Cardiff at home. So, and Benetton's on a bit of a run right now. I think they sent basically their strongest team over here.
Yeah.
They really want to qualify for the Champions Cup as well. I think they are one of the faster growing teams in the thing. So the Sharks should win that one. And I think they play Munster last at home as well. And Munster has been traveling very poorly. So I'm thinking the Sharks should be safe. The Bulls, they're playing Leinster and Zebra. I think Zebra is an easy beat. Leinster, we'll see what they do against the Lions. The Bulls haven't been playing that well. Their defense has been pretty poor. So I think almost the Lions have a better chance against Leinster currently than the Bulls do. So they are a bit touch and go. And then the Lions, 70% is not zero, but we need other guys to lose and that. And I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're doing better than last year, but not good enough yet.
Yeah, I think with the Lions, I think obviously they have to go basically go and beat Leinster with a bonus point on Saturday and beat Zebra. You get 10 points and hope that other results go their way. And it would probably be the most Lions thing ever for us to do that, to get into the top 8, and then for like Benetton to come 9th to win the Challenge Cup and knock us out.
Look, I think a lot of this depends on Cardiff, to be very honest. And they're sitting there kind of the wild card in all of this, with games against Connacht and Ospreys left, either side of them on the table, and so they get 2 losses there, and suddenly we're looking at an equation where even if the Bulls don't quite get a result going the way, we still might have 3 teams sitting in the quite easily, very comfortably. And the Stormers could do us a favour at the top of the table as well with a couple of wins there.
Yeah, and Connacht is playing very well, so they should be able to take Cardiff easily. It's the Ospreys which Ospreys shows up against Cardiff.
And it's now the time which I hate, where you have to start bringing out calculators. You have to start looking at like so many different factors on who the hell is going to go through, which all gets a bit complicated and stuff like that. We're gonna do quick fire predictions at the end. We've got Curry Cup and URC, so we've only got 2 competitions. We'll have to find something else as well. Maybe we'll make it in half.
Listen, I've got some refereeing stuff I want to talk about. So
here we go.
Here we go. Okay, so should we go to the typical South African referee tangent? Here we go. This is where all the comments are come out and share and talk about how all we do is bash referees. Right, Reza, go and bash your referees.
Yeah, referees were all cuck, and this is why the France are going to win the World Cup. Anyway, absolutely not. It's actually not what I want to say. It's to be very honest, it's twofold. There is a lot of outcry about refereeing at this point, and obviously citing Champions Cup and recent URC, and it's across the board at this point. And I totally agree with the sentiment that you cannot blame refereeing for the results in a lot of those games, but I do want to point out some decisions that were incredibly dodgy in that Sharks game. And to be very honest, Sharks didn't deserve to win that. Their second half was terrible. They threw away a lot of opportunities, and a couple of decisions wouldn't have mattered. But sorry, let me just get this winger's name correct. Oh gosh, what's his next name now? I'll find it in a minute. But basically, Juan Cruz Malia. 14.
He's the Argentine player.
Correct, he came running across the line, and Mapimpi was almost stood exactly still, and he swung across the line, and he mistimed it, and he went head first into the side of Mapimpi's head with his own head, knocked himself out, and was out cold for a little bit, and got a yellow card for it. A mitigating factor was that Mapimpi apparently changed direction. When he changed direction, it was a bit of a stutter step. It wasn't exactly like a huge Ches and Colby sidestep, and that was apparently enough to say, no, definitely not a straight red for head-on-head contact, no wrap of the arms, nothing. This guy just went flat out, crashed into it. And I was sitting there going, and I even messaged, Rion responded to me on the day, and was like, guys, what do you think about this yellow card? Like, well, frankly, if that was a South African team, I can almost guarantee that's a straight red. And
here it comes. The world hates Africans. Oh no, get the Rusty video out.
I don't think we'll see reds.
I don't care.
I don't see reds in the knockouts.
I actually just don't. Well, if you say so, Rion. But if I come across and I flip and headbutt an oak, and he had a stutter step in a game where it's all about changing direction, and that's apparently enough to get you down from a red to a yellow, and then come on and score a hat trick. That's kind of annoying. That's just my view on it. And I think that the quality of refereeing, it didn't even warrant a second look. It wasn't even much of a discussion between the TMO and the ref on the field. I just think that refereeing in general, not because of the South African team, but refereeing in general at this point is looking quite dire. And especially in a World Cup year, it needs some investigation.
The thing with the refereeing conversation is it's such a two-fold conversation, because how much blame do you put on the refs, how much blame do you put on the change in laws and stuff like that. And the biggest thing is, I suppose, the inconsistencies, and that's what always the issue is that you see a decision and you sit there going, okay, cool, so that's the yellow card, and then you watch the next game, the same thing happens, and you're going, oh, well, why is that a red card? Why is that a yellow card? So there's no doubt there's a lot of discrepancies in it, and to be honest, I think that the fact that the refereeing is such a big topical issue, and the fact that it's such a microscope, which is why I think it's such a masterstroke that Nigel Owens is going to join the Bok coaching staff. I think that is one of the most...
I thought that was off the table.
He said no.
Oh, he said no. What have I missed out? I've got it up for like 4 days.
No. To turn them down now.
Now we'll find another one.
Yeah, he said he's got other work and he's starting a family. They're adopting a kid, or they're trying to. So
we'll send him a South African kid. What's the issue here? You can come and choose one from like Paul Kim or something that's going to be... You can pay for
I have to find another ref with good
someone.
chips.
But a lot of referees are joining coaching staff, which I think is quite an interesting development.
The French have one on the payroll as well.
Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting year from a referee. I do think that World Rugby need to take a lot of accountability in terms of maybe a lot of inconsistencies with the way either the laws are being written or termed, or how the interpretation is going. But I think the biggest issue is that there just doesn't seem, whether it's too complex or whether we're not actually bothering ourselves to get to go spend the time getting into the nitty gritty. At the end of the day, your average fan does not understand why what is a yellow card and what is a red card these days, and that makes for unpleasant viewing.
Did you see that the call against the Reds lock Angus Blythe?
That was the most ridiculous. He got a 3-week ban.
But besides all that, the process to get him to red. Did you see that? Where the ref was like, okay, that looks pretty bad, yellow card. He goes and sits down, and then a TMO, not the main TMO, they have a separate TMO, has 8 minutes to check the footage while the game's going, and then he can upgrade it to a red. And that's what happened. They told him, he's got 8 minutes in the upstairs to review the footage. And then he can tell the guy, okay, he radios the ref, tells the ref, okay, no, this is bad, make it a red card. And then the ref tells the guy, okay, you can't come back on the field, your yellow is now red. And
is that a Super Rugby
time to do it, that's a Super Rugby method.
But they're looking at bringing that into the World Cup potentially. Apparently they're having
they want to bring it in the World Cup so that the ref doesn't have that time pressure of looking at a big screen on the field, the crowd's baying for blood, all that
being
kind of
booed
stuff.
by the French crowd and all the stuff like that.
So a TMO in a box upstairs looks at it while the game carries on, and then they say, okay, it's a yellow still or it's a red now.
So it's 8 minutes. It's 8 minutes for Bismarck du Plessis to tear 3 other guys' heads off.
No. So he's already
off.
The guy's yellow card
and he's off.
Field,
so while he's sitting on the bench, and I'm pretty sure. I think also if he reviews it and like within like 4 minutes can go and say, it's not a yellow card. I think they can actually and stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they sort of if they do implement that sort of thing. I quite like, and I've always said we've got technology, let's use it, and then it's kind of been an overuse of it where they're now going back 45 phases to go and see if there might have been a potential forward pass, a type thing, and it becomes a very tiresome thing. But so I think the referee conversation to everyone, I think it's going to come up a lot this year. I'm very excited.
It's never going to go away.
No,
we're all talking circles every week. You just got to accept it's part of the game. Human error is part of the game.
I agree with you. But that, to me, that's the other part of this game is like people say, oh, let's not talk about the referees. I'm like, how can you not though? They are a part of the game. There's nothing wrong with having a discussion about it. It just depends how biased you actually are.
Well, I still maintain, I'm going to put my neck out, that a big game in the World Cup is going to have a very controversial referee decision decided. I'm betting that it's going to be France, but I'm telling you now, a big game is going to be decided on a controversial decition, and that's going to be sad. But
But I suppose that also comes back to sort of the whole home ground advantage that you're always, that's why home ground advantage is so important, and not just obviously the World Cup would be in France, but for things like having that home semi-final where you're in that high pressure
But-
situation,
but-
all kind of feeds into each other, doesn't it?
But Steve, also in this France game, Sharks game, did you guys see when Pimpy scored and then the replay got shown over and over until the ref blew the forward pass? Exact same thing happened to Toulouse. Not a single replay in sight. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
No, but
Just
that's why
saying.
there's lots of
Just
calls
saying.
that
It happens here as well.
But that's not human error. That's
no,
That
it's-
is, yeah.
it's-
Home
And
ground.
Victor Matfield stepped up a little bit because he came on and said, if this was Super Sport, we do the same thing. We'd also show.
Yeah,
the way-
exactly.
I don't think. The
Well,
Super
there we
Sport
go.
would
Well,
do- but that's.
I was at Ellis Park. When was it? 2014. Kano hit, who was it? Lambie or something in the head, or Skulk going down in a tackle. I was in Ellis Park. That big screen, both sides, was on repeat showing that head contact till the ref stopped the game and said, "Okay."
Yeah.
okay,
Well, that's
won.
then it's fair enough. Yeah.
I'm more shocked that those big screens are working, to be honest.
They are working. I'll be at Ellis Park this Saturday. You guys. will see
There
my
we
team.
go. Rian can see the park and see how it's going. That's an interesting conversation because there's now been calls to have neutral television crews as well to not have. So if it's a Rugby World Cup in South Africa, SuperSport will not be the broadcaster.
That makes sense.
Or even just a neutral TV director, for example. So the SuperSport cameraman can all be there, but
There's no way. There's no way.
We need captains just need to do a code and shout it to the refs, Mike, you bloody super school.
literally.
You bloody bastards. Bloody hell.
Still my moment of this.
Go full Virat Kohli on the mic stump, the stump mic.
Remember that. Super sport, you cheated.
It's still the best meme ever. That going into the mind. But let's move on to this weekend, shall we? Because there's a lot of rugby. I'm going to do some quick fire predictions, and Rian wasn't here last weekend, so we're going to have to put him on the spot for them.
I got all of them right, in case you guys were wondering.
Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go.
Okay,
You
cool.
got 2 for 2. But before then, we're going to go to our betting segment. We're going to bring Kristen here. Chris is going to give us some more winning bets this weekend. That is what happened last week, as well as the season record and tonight's bets. Chris, over to you. Take us through this.
Yeah, guys. So we had last week, if you remember, we had 2 bets. We had the multi with 4 legs. We had the Bulls to win, which they did in the Currie Cup quite comfortably. Blues to win, which they did very comfortably. Leinster raced to 20, which Leicester were giving them a game, but I always thought 20 points was enough into the game that they were putting away by then. And Clermont plus 5.5 got close. Clermont's been doing French things. They should have actually really won that game. They're down to 14 early in the first half as well. But anyway, the point spread covered, so we won that bet and was quite bullish on the Bulls on the single to win against Griquas, and it turned out to be too much class against that Griquas side. So yeah, we got up another couple of units. So we up the record 5-2, 5 wins, 2 losses to 6 unit wins. So it's quite a nice return on investments that we currently ticking over with. So yeah, I've come up with some bets again for the weekend. So this is obviously all through bets.ZA and what markets I currently have available to look at up until showtime. So at the moment, I'm going to still keep the units quite low. I think I still want to just keep building this up, and then we can maybe take some bigger risks on higher odd multis in a few weeks' time. But the first one, which I really like, what you want to call it, or banker, if you want to call it, or the surer thing, is 1.5 units on overs in the Pacifica versus Reds games. They're playing in Pacifica, so it's going to be in Samoa, so it's going to be quite a game, quite an atmosphere. And both teams, I don't think they have defense coaches or even practice tackling. So I'm pretty sure that 52 should be covered. The only thing that could go against us is the conditions, because they haven't played there and it might be muggy. I haven't seen what conditions would be like there, but I'm still pretty confident on previous form lines that over 52 covers. Brumbies are at home to Fiji and Jura as well. Brumbies at home are just very, very solid. Jura away are not very good at all, and they're leaving some of their players behind. So the cap is 20. So we're saying, that Brumbies minus 10 means Brumbies will win by more than 10.5. So you'll look for the alternate cap line, as we discussed a few weeks ago. That's a lower price. So we're saying, Brumbies to win by more than 10. And then Gloucester play Bath at home tomorrow night. Just the way the season going, home team as well. Gloucester at home, they've got more to play for in the log position. Bath had a very, very good win against Exeter a few weeks ago, but they've had the break in between. Say Gloucester had a very good win against La Rochelle. So I just think they are the better side, and a home win here should come in. I think Bath will be better than we expect, but I'm very confident that Gloucester wins. So that's a treble. That's a treble at 2.39, which you can currently get at that price on bet.coza. But assuming we have won a few units, I am going to stick my neck out on a bit of a bigger one, not on a big unit stake at this stage, but I've decided to go with this one because I'm quite confident on these points coming in. Brumbies over 40 team points is one leg. So we need Brumbies to get more than 40. I'm thinking that Brumbies could probably cover 50, get close to 50, maybe cover 50. Again, we've just spoken about the Reds and Pacifica over 58. We talked about the line cap, which is the middle, the 50-50 handicap that bookies give it. It's at 62. So we're still under the line cap at 58. I still think this game goes to 65 more points. Hope if things should go well. And then I just be honest, I think if Bulls, Zebra, bottom of the log, Bulls are still playing for their spots. I think Bulls win by 50, to be honest. And yeah, we say Bulls minus 23.5, so they're to beat Zebra by more than 23.5. That's the line cap, actually. So the bookies are actually saying that Bulls will win by 24. I'm saying that Bulls are going to win by 40. And that comes to 5.46 at 3/4 of a unit. So it's a little bit less. It's obviously half of the unit stake that we do in the first bet. But obviously, if it wins, we get 0.75 times those units. So it'll be a very nice profit if that comes in. I'm very confident in the first one to arrive, which still means we'll make a small amount of profit. But if we get that second multi, we'll be really well in A4 way onto a nice profit record. So yeah, best of luck if you tail in. Yeah, pretty high confident that these should arrive. Maybe one will get close, but I'm confident that they're all going to be very close or definitely winners.
I reckon I might drop in my house on my car on the second one, and we'll phone you guys from the next week.
Yeah, but we say, like I said, as I said, guys, unfortunately at this time of the day, there's other games that I would be probably looking at, which I'll probably put in these, which I'll be more confident to bet more. But because we're limited to the Friday games and some Saturday games, I don't want to risk too much at this stage until we've got a nice kitty. So perhaps we could take more risk. So like we say, we'll make an arrangement that I could get bets out to you guys on Fridays or Saturdays as well.
Yeah. Right. Well, if you do put some bets out on Twitter at the Crow Tips there, so
that's right. Yeah, there's my handle. So yes, I do post a couple of multis and triples every week, or even a line cap, whatever I feel strongly about. So yes, if you want more, I'm pretty active over the weekend, giving out more trebles and doubles and some other tips. Yeah, so sure, they'll be good.
Oh, there we go. So that's our betting tips for the week. As always, the big thank you to Chris as well as to Bet Koza for being our betting partners and powering the betting segment and stuff like that. If you have any questions, Chris, as always, put them in the comments, stuff like that. And we can revisit them as well.
And also, I just say, if anyone wants to ask me any questions on Twitter, direct message me if you want. If the lines do move, if you see this in the morning, you'll probably go there. You might not get the same price and numbers. If you are willing to make a bet, give me a shout. I'm happy to help out, recreate that bet for you, or give you advice. So not an issue.
What a legend.
Cool. Thanks, Chris. And, well,
no worries.
He says what a legend now. We'll be within a week's time after we see if whether they hit or not.
Well, we'll still be up, so that's why I'm feeling a little bit more, spicy this week.
Hey.
I also like to live danger. Yeah, living on the edge. But yeah, we've got a little bit. So yeah, if these come home, it will be ace, and we'll be well away. So it'll be good.
All right, cool. I love it. Right, cool. Thank you so much, Chris. And then we've got 5 minutes left. So what I want to try and do is I want to put some people on the spot here, and I want to do some quick fire predictions. We did it last week, and it was fun. Now the problem is we've only got 2 competitions really to look at, unless Chris, you back yourself to the Premiership.
Yeah, I can do Premiership
or Super Rugby.
Let's do it,
because I don't watch enough of either to do either. So.
Well, I would say, they're both my favorite comps. They're the ones I follow the most closely and has my money.
Okay, so which one do you want? Do you want Premiership quickfire or do you want Super Rugby quickfire?
Super Rugby.
Super Rugby. Okay. Rian, we're going to give you URC,
All right.
and then Reed's going to give you Curry
Ah,
Cup.
really?
Have it.
Come on, you gotta make things interesting. Okay,
No,
well, then,
no,
I wasn't here. Someone else better go before me. What does quick fire mean? Explain.
basically, I don't want you to explain. I don't want you to justify. I just want you to tell me who's winning by how much, and that's
And then we judge you afterwards.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Although Chris, I see there's only about 4 Super Rugby games this weekend.
Yeah, so give me English Premier if you want as well. I'm not
Okay,
shy.
I'll tell
I'm
you what,
not
we'll
afraid.
start with you.
Let's
We'll
do
do
it.
Super Super Rugby, then we're going
Top
to be on
14.
thing, and then we'll go back to the Premier League. And then we're gonna
Pro
and
D2.
then we're gonna give Reason top 14, and then Rian, I'm gonna give you Pro D2, and we'll finish with Chris doing some Japanese top league, and then maybe we'll do some Major League Rugby.
Yeah.
Whichever team Video Review plays for wins.
There we go.
Yeah.
At fly
Yeah.
half, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris, are you ready for your 4 Super Rugby game?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so
let's
tomorrow
go.
at 6 o'clock in the morning for us, Moana Pacifica versus Reds.
Reds by 7.
Reds by 7. Okay, then Brumbies versus the Drua.
Brumbies by 45 to 50.
Sorry.
Brumbies by 45 to 50 points.
Okay.
Oh,
got
sorry,
a
sorry.
big
Yeah,
gun,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
understood.
Okay, Hurricanes versus Chiefs.
Chiefs
Well,
by
that's a
3.
Chiefs by 3. Nice close game. Then Waratahs Bourse.
Waratahs by 7 to 10. 7 to 10 points.
Okay. I love that Brumbies Drua chat. That's the kind of stuff I'm in for. That's the kind of confidence I like to see.
They're gonna know the draw. You'll see it.
They
Might
go-
actually have to watch the game now, knowing that's the apparently it's gonna be a good game.
It's just the Brumbies are just the Drew are just going to battle to live with the Brumbies. That's the problem. They just don't have the structure and the physicality, especially away. Brumbies at home. These guys, I think Reds, some of the other guys have put 50 past them already. So Brumbies are the best Aussie team. Why should they not do it again? Be good conditions as well. So changes for Jura, 40 plus.
There we go. You see, you need to choose for punch team when you've got Chris telling us why the Brumbies. I think you'll love to see. Okay, you've had a taste now, Rian. Are you ready for your URC games?
Let's do this. Yeah.
Okay, Sharks versus Benson.
Sharks by a score, 7 points.
7 points. Okay, Glasgow Scarlets.
Good game. Glasgow by about 15 points, I'd say.
Okay, Ulster Dragons.
Ulster smashed the Dragons by 25 points. Dwayne is playing.
There we go. Okay, Bulls Zebra.
Bulls by 5.
Oh,
Bad form.
Oh.
I love it. I'm not mad at that either. I'm not mad at that either. I can go fetch some Bulls fans with that. Lions Leinster.
Lions going to show everyone how to beat Leinster. No one's been able to do it.
Come on! Okay, love
This is my heart talking. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. The head's overrated. Okay, then Stormers Munster.
Stormers Blacklash. So going to be about 12 points to Stormers.
12 points. Okay, then Edinburgh Ospreys.
Ospreys by about 5.
By 5. And then Connacht Cardiff.
Connacht by 15 against Cardiff in a wet and windy Galway, the dog track.
Yeah, no, I like the Lions shot. I think the Bulls chat's a very interesting chat. I actually really like.
Bulls will be far ahead, and then Zebra will come back. You'll see it.
No, I don't think it's a bad shot, to be honest. I think this Bulls team actually. I genuinely think that with things happening in Victoria, I think this Bulls team actually have it in them to lose that game. With how
No.
serious we are, I think it could. It probably won't happen, but I genuinely wouldn't be that shocked if it did happen. 'Cause, yeah.
The
And-
defense. Oof.
No, well, what defense? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I think for me it's Zebra. I have no time for Zebra. So if the Bulls can't, if they can't, then
They're
then
cool
fine.
wing.
But the Italians are up and coming, Chris.
Hey, look at Benetton.
Watch them. What? We're just thinking a win. No, no.
To be fair, when you say the Italians are up and coming, it's got nothing to do with Zebra. It's got everything to do with what's happening over in Treviso.
Yeah.
Zebra continue about this much Italian rugby right now. It's just Benetton. And then our Curry Cup expert.
Yeah, thanks.
It's not
Old lady of our rugby.
right. So tomorrow is Sharks Bulls, Hoppers 3.
Interesting game. I think it obviously the Bulls are depleted this week, so I'm going to go Sharks by 12.
Sharks by 12. Province Cheetahs.
Another interesting one. I think I'm going to go Cheetahs by 15.
Cheetahs by 15. Interesting one because, as I said, it is the Cheetahs' full strength side, but fine, back you. Griffins versus Pumas.
Pumas by 30 to 35.
Okay. And then Lions Breakers on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm backing an upset here, to be honest, but I'm going to go Lions by 10.
Is that the upset or is this?
The upset is the upset, and I'm pretty sure I'm wrong on that.
Okay, I'm just checking what we classify as an upset right now. Be very clear about this.
But yeah, I hope that all comes to fruition. I've gone very safe this week, I think, but maybe Chris tells me different. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna put Chris's head back on the block with some Premiership rugby this weekend. Right, we've got also only am I correct in only 3 games this weekend? Eh? No, wait, 5 games. There we go. There's that. Right, Chris, you ready? Okay, so Gloucester versus Bath.
Gloucester by 9.
Gloucester by 9. Bristol versus Sale.
Sale by 3.
Okay, Northampton versus Saracens.
Northampton by 2.
Well, close weekend.
I know it's a dodgy one. That's a dodgy.
Yeah.
This one won't be so close. Harlequins will win going away 12 plus.
12 plus. Leicester versus Exeter. Last game of the weekend.
Leicester by 7.
7. Okay, so it's quite. Yeah, with apart from the Harlequins,
how many heads will Leicester bang up?
Yeah, I heard some rumor about England possibly doing a wild card for the World Cup and calling up Ruan Ackerman. I don't know how.
Really?
I don't know how true that
His
is.
knee was exploded last weekend, so I don't know if he's going to be able to make it by then.
Yeah,
I don't know why they haven't called him yet.
Yeah,
But
I wonder if this is back news from before the injury and maybe he's missed
I
his
think
shot.
there was talks about it before his injury, but now his knees in the brace. I don't know.
I'd like to see it, to be honest. I really rate him. So, and he seems.
I followed Gloucester. Yeah. They my team in the Premiership, and he's been a very good guy for years now.
Yeah, but also from a betting point, I mean, I love the competition's improved leaps and bounds, even though they're saying it's probably not as strong as they're thinking it is.
Excuse me.
But in terms of from betting angles, like Super Rugby and Prem are very good because you pretty much get the same sides playing each week. So form lines are much easier to read for me. So that's why I love English Prem and Super Rugby because my betting strategy, some people love the numbers and it's raining and this much grass is on that side of the field. And I love the matchup. So if I see the matchup right in front of me, I call the games much better. So that's why I enjoy this game. Generally, the trends are quite solid, whether it's going to be high scoring, low scoring, and stuff.
Yeah. I'd love to pick your guys' brains about one last thing before we go, Steve, if that's okay. Our fellow pundits over at The Breakdown, I don't know how much you guys watch of them, but one of their most viral clips at the moment is the fact that Andre Pollard overrated. Comparisons to Sexton and Wilkinson, and I've just
got you boiling.
Yeah, I'm steaming a little bit. To be very honest.
You can see the steam coming out.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if this is for views or what.
We know it is.
Yeah,
of course it is. Yeah,
it's a very big Sexton versus Wilkinson conversation at the moment.
Yeah, I think Pollard's underachieved in his career. I'll be honest. I think he's
he never won anything big.
Yeah. He's had his moments. He had his knee injuries like they all do. He's playing brilliantly. I mean, if he could just hold on to this form now, in terms of form fly-offs, arguably he could be better. But as you want to, like over their careers, I think you can't argue with Sexton at the moment. He was the other one they said.
Pollard's going to
Sexton.
Well, I'm seeing some people going Sexton, some people going Wilkinson. I'm always been a big Sexton fan.
Oh no, Wilkinson. Wilkinson was a different type of. Wilkinson was a different.
I'm in two boats here because I see the Wilkinson Sexton argument and something that you mentioned, Chris, is something that goes across all sports. There's always this conversation about how much has a player achieved in terms of titles, achievements, all that kind of stuff. To point out that a guy like Tom Cleverley, which is probably a name you're not familiar with unless you watch United football,
I do know that. Yeah.
Now I don't know what to talk about.
What's a Cleverley?
Exactly, but the man has more league titles than Harry Kane, and you go, well, I mean, that's just kind of like, well, do we base it on that? The fact that you could be part of a squad wins consistently, or you could be a star player in a team that doesn't perform consistently over and over again, which is what I think Andre Pollard has been. And admittedly, he's gone through dips which are mostly injury enforced, but when he's playing, I mean, there's no one in the world that really stops him, to be in my opinion.
I don't know. I don't think he's that good.
I think Richie Mo'unga and Bowden Barrett are clear of all three of them, but that's just my opinion. But
yes,
if you combine
waits till the end and then drops the bombshells here, dude. Now I want to box you. You're gonna sit here, disrespect my boy Johnny Sexton like that. Then you're just gonna throw in Richie Mo'unga and Bowden Barrett after the last 2 years of terrible All Black performances we've seen, and you want me to just sign off after that?
But I think they've all had injuries as well. I just feels like even the period of time that Pollard, he seems to be around for ages. I don't think he's in that old yet, but I think
28.
he's had his dips. Okay, he's won a World Cup, but like Wilkinson and Sexton just seem to have had this constant high level thing going. Maybe it's not perceived. If I had really rated Pollard, I would have really felt it already. I've been like, no way, he's like up there. But I don't have that conviction to say he's at that level. I don't know why. I wish I did.
Who's been South Africa's best, most legendary 10s? We don't make
Henry Honeywell.
We make 9.
Come on, Butch James.
Not even any of you could
come on, lad. Back
none of
Butch
you could
James.
agree. Earl Rose. I mean, that guy is underrated.
I mean,
No,
still your
South
golf
Africa
clubs,
doesn't
but
make legendary 10s. We make legendary 9s because we play off 9. Box kicks. So we just need a guy who can shuffle the ball on and maybe break their 10 in a head-eye tackle. Butch James,
I also think you're not comparing apples with apples. I think, like Chris said, if you're going on form alone, I think that Pollard is definitely up there. If we're talking about overall achievements in the career, I think Pollard's a long way off from finishing his career, and so that judgment is unfair at this point.
If he wins another World Cup, but he needs, then definitely. But now
it's an interesting World Cup coming up, because if Sexton it does come back and Ireland do win the World Cup, I don't think you can argue too much against. I mean, first of all, he's a World Player of the Year already, Irish Grand Slam at 37. If he wins the World Cup at 37, well, he'll actually be 38 by the time he goes to the World Cup, and he was nominated for World Player of the Year last year at 37. So I'm a big advocate of Sexton. I know a lot of people. He's very annoying as a captain.
Nations.
Yeah, and
most points for Ireland,
and just what he does, what he does to that Irish team. I like Byrne. I think he's a nice player. When Sexton plays for Ireland, it's a whole different prospect. I think
a lot rides on this World Cup. I think you're absolutely correct there. If Ireland crash out in the group stages, we will not be talking about them in the same, and we go on to win, and vice versa. We're definitely not going to be sitting here having this conversation. One of them is going to be very obviously on top.
Look, at the end of the day, if we don't win the World Cup, we're going to be talking about Finn Russell as the best flyer of all time when he guides Scotland to it. So,
there's my boy, that man.
But right, chat. Thank you very much. Yeah, we definitely need to pencil a couple of best 10s, best 9s, some controversial picks there as well. Best captains, for example. There's lots of stuff we must get into, and we'll do that in the coming shows. Because we're actually about to come to a bit of a rugby halt in the next couple of weeks because after this we're going to the URC playoffs, and there'll be fewer and fewer games up until the first international game, which is the 5th of July, which feels like a very long time away. So enjoy the rugby while it lasts, because it's going to get fewer and fewer in the next couple of weeks. We have to really get into even varsity cups coming to an end. So but chat, as always, thank you very much for joining me. Anybody in the comments, thank you very much. Sorry we didn't get to too many of them. We will see you guys next week. This will obviously also be available on all your favorite podcast platforms, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, and the works. So if you'd like to listen to us back in the car, then you can, and stuff like that. But until then, we'll be live over the weekend. We're going to be doing all 4 URC games. Might even throw a couple of Curry Cup games in as well. So plenty of live watch-alongs to come. Thank you very much. Please do smash like on the video on the way out and subscribe to the channel as well. And we'll see you guys all next time.
Hi, Harold, how are you doing?
Good day. Thanks. Good. Thanks yourself.
Good, thanks. You've got two more rounds left in this URC competition. You're up against Zebra this weekend. You've got a lot of teams breathing down your necks in the table. How important is it to get the maximum points this weekend?
Yeah, thanks for the question. For us, it's all about the process. We take it each day, step by step, each training session. So we try not to focus on the standings. Just try to focus on the training and build up to the game. Take it game for game.
You happy, Warren? No follow up?
All good.
Okay, cool. Ken?
Thanks, Lunga. How's it, Harold?
Fine, thanks yourself, Ken.
Yeah, good, man. Good to see you again. Harold, presumably you guys, there's quite a sense of relief in the camp after breaking your losing run. Obviously with the victory over Griquas. Can you just talk us through how the squad is feeling at the moment, and what would you say made the difference against Griquas? How did you guys actually get back onto the winning trail?
Yeah, Ken, definitely the win helped us a lot. Got a lot more of confidence, but actually the last couple of weeks we really played well. We put up a good performance against Ulster, and then especially the first half against Toulouse, both very, very good teams. So that was actually the build-up started 2 to 3 weeks ago. And obviously the win last week, Friday, just gave us a confidence booster.
Follow up there, Ken?
Yeah, please. Harold, I mean, everyone else, us, the media, the fans, people outside, tend to judge teams by their results, strictly, what you guys, whether you win or lose. How difficult is it for a team? Because I know you guys try and stay focused rather on your performance, how you guys have played rather than the outcome. When you get on a run like you guys went on, how hard is it to keep focusing on performance and not results? And just how pleased were you guys with the performance against Griquas, never mind the result?
Yeah, definitely. We play to win, and when the result doesn't come our way, we get back Monday or Tuesday or whatever, and try to get the focus back for the next game. Obviously, there was a couple of disappointments, and obviously the losing streak wasn't nice, but I think we just stuck together nicely. We really trained hard, and yeah, things started to change. I believe against Ulster, we really played well. The result didn't come our way, but in the camp you could have definitely sensed that the performance was getting better, and each training session is getting better, and the vibe is getting bit more positive each day. So like I said previously, the win against Griquas was definitely just filling us with more confidence.
Oh, good, Ken.
Yeah, good.
Cool.
Thank you. Thanks, Harold.
Please.
Thank you.
Ashfaq.
Sorry, I just didn't unmute there. Thanks, Lunga. Hi, Harold. Hoop gaan goed met jou. Net in terme van jou persoonlijke wedstrijd. Jy lyk soos jy in jou beste vorm is op die oomblik. Hoe voel jy oor jou eie game?
Ja, baie dankie. Ja, ek geniet dit hierso. Ek is baie gelukkig hier waar ek is. Ek voel die Unie is goed. Ons het obviously 'n goeie groep ouens. Al die ouens kom goed oor die weg, en ons draai 'n span bou, en obviously unieke environment vir onsself te skep vir almal. En ek voel die ouens almal speel vir mekaar. Ons speel nie regtig een vir homself nie. En ek dink dis waar die verskil inkom. Almal speel vir mekaar en die ouens gee om vir mekaar en werk hard.
En het ook gelyk teen Griekwas was beter ritme op die aanval met die bal in hand veral. Soos hulle sê die shackles afgehaal het en net rugby begin speel. Was dit die secret teen Griekwas?
Ja, ek glo ons het teen Ulster 'n baie goeie performance gehad en so ook teen Toulouse veral die eerste helfte. So dit het so 2-3 weke terug al begin opbou. Miskien al voor dit, die resultate het dalk net nie na ons kant toe gekom nie. Ek voel laasweek Vrydag teen Griekwas was definitief het vir ons bietjie meer confidence gegee en dit net al die harde werk het afbetaal, maar daar was definitief nog baie werk om te doen. Ons het twee belangrike wedstryde vir ons en ons sien uit.
Net laasens van my, Harold, Zebra het al, ons weet nou, hulle het nie 'n wen in hierdie seisoen nie, maar natuurlik sal julle nie dink dat dit sal maklik wees Saterdag nie, veral met julle resultate, maar wat dink jy is die grootste uitdaging vir hierdie naweek vir julle?
Ja, ek glo in die URC sal geen game wat maklik is nie. Op die dag kan enige ander span klop. So vir ons is dit net belangrik om te fokus op wat ons wil doen. Voluit te doen, ons basics reg te doen en ja, te volg wat die coaches vir ons gee.
Het net laaste ene van my, jammer Harold, het om met Steedman Gans nou te speel, weet hy baie van die bank af gespeel, maar julle het nou saam begin verlede week. Hoe voel dit om saam met hom te speel en vir hierdie naweek ook?
Ja, is baie lekker. Ek voel almal in die span kom oor die weg met mekaar. Maak nie saak wie inkom of so nie. Die ouens speel vir mekaar, so ons is baie gelukkig. Wat die coaches kies, pla ons glad nie. Die ouens back mekaar en geniet dit op die veld saam met mekaar.
All good, Ashwak?
Yes, thank you.
Cool. Ken, is that an old hand or a follow-up? If a follow-up, please go for it.
Thanks. Yes, it's a follow-up. Thanks, Dunga. Harold, how's it going to feel for you playing back at Ellis Park on Saturday, but you're going to be in the home change room, all that sort of stuff? It's a home game and you're back at your old home. How's it going to feel?
Yeah, lots of good memories at Ellis Park. So looking forward to it. Hopefully it will be another good memory.
Shoni, Dylan, are you all good before we let Harold go?
Can I ask a question?
Go for it.
So I know I'm a visitor here, guys. Morning, everyone. Just Harold, I know I think just after the win over the weekend, there was talk that you believe that you can win again. But can you talk to us about in English what was going wrong or what had gone wrong to kind of before you arrested the run of losses, and yeah, what just went right over the weekend?
Yeah, like I said previously, I believe the build-up game 2 to 3 weeks ago, we had a good performance against Ulster. The result didn't come our way, but we really played well. I just feel against Griquas, the result came our way and we took lots of confidence out of that.
Everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. Today's preview: Bulls versus Zebra tomorrow at Emirates Airline Park. It is part of a triple header actually. There are two URC games as well as the Coa Cup happening at the Emirates Airline Park tomorrow afternoon. And the Bulls versus the Zebra is one of the URC clashes, a bit of a curtain raiser for the big Lions versus Leinster match, which will be happening afterwards. And it's a very strong Bulls side. The return of Johan Goosen and also a pretty South African stacked Zebra side as well, which should make for quite enjoyable viewing. And the Bulls. Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports for today's preview. Lions versus Leinster. Although it's really Lions versus Leinster on the 20 side. A very inexperienced Leinster side that has been sent out to South Africa, given the fact that they have already sealed top spot on that table. They currently sit with a 13-point lead on the Stormers, who actually still need to play quite well to get that second spot. But Leinster have absolutely walked the group stage, and as a result, they have sent a very weakened side, a very exciting player in the likes of Sam Prendergast on debut actually for Leinster this weekend. For the Lions, it's a chance, isn't it? It's a chance. They've got, I think the URC giving them an 18% chance of making that top 8. They currently sit 3 points behind the Sharks with a very poor points difference. However, they are playing against, as I said, a very weakened Leinster side and then Zebra, both in, one in Emirates Park, one at Loftus. So not quite both games at home, but very much on the high field in conditions that will suit the Lions. And they've got to go out and they've got to try and get 2 bonus point wins to try and see if they can sneak into that top 8 and then hope that other results, go their way basically. So it's a long shot. At the end of the day, the most points they can get up to is 48. Connacht can get to 48 with 1 win. Bulls can get to 48 with 2 wins or win in a draw type thing. So it's a very big ask for the Lions. But at the end of the day, they can only control what they can control. They're going to go out and get 2 bonus point wins and then see what happens. Before we look at the 2 sides, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. This is the Lions side that we'll take to the park tomorrow. It's a start for Renard Rainsberger, who's really sort of risen through the ranks quite quickly this season. Been interested to see. I haven't seen much Steve Sartori, which is a bit strange for me. I used to wonder if maybe he hasn't signed a contract elsewhere and has sort of been phased out of the team, because it's been interesting to see how JP Smith, for example, became the incumbent. Loose said, and Renard Rainsberger has even had opportunities there. PJ Butter continues to start despite a horrifying show last weekend. Didn't hit any lineouts. It was very frustrating to watch. Us Nothing Club at Kanya, they had an absolute storming game. I think he made about 8-9 carries last weekend, as well as about 15-16 tackles. It was an absolutely incredible shift for the tight head, who's come in leaps and bounds. Probably been the most improved player for the Lions. Willem Alberts, Ruben Skuman in the second row. It's a nice tight 5 actually with those 3. No Ruan Fenter, who was injured last week, so Ruan Dalport doesn't get his first start in the URC side. That Creole, Franco Horn will be on the loose trio with them. Franco Horn, such an important player to the Lions. Sinead Nahamba, Johnny Lombard will be the halfback pairing. Sinead Nahamba has become probably the most important player in the Lions in terms of both from a goalkeeping perspective, as well as just his speed, his play, and he's scored so many tries, from quick taps, for example, and exploiting half gaps when they do open up. Edel van der Merwe has a new wing partner in Stian Pienaar this weekend, with Russ McClellan being out injured. Manuel Russ will be at outside centre. Kieran Horn at full back. Off the bench, Morne Brandon, JP Smith, Ruan Dreyer, Darren Landsberg, Travis Gordon, Morne Vandenberg, Renard Jonker, and Andries Kutsia. Pretty similar bench. No Renard Northnachel, which is a bit frustrating. So Darren Landsberg does get an opportunity. Travis Gordon continues to be backed within this side. Let's look at this Leinster side, shall we? As I said, it's a very strange looking Leinster side because a lot of players missing. Rhys Ruddock is always sort of the constant. Will captain the side, the number 6 jersey. But in the front row, Michael Milner, Lee Barrett, and Vaktan Abduladze will pack it down next to a pretty good Lions front row, and that'll be a big test for them because that Lions front row has been one of the few shining lights of the Lions season so far. Brian Deeney, Jason Jenkins in the second row. Good to see Jason Jenkins playing back on South African soil. Rhys Ruddock is joined by Will Collins and Max Deegan in that loose trio. Nick McCarthy's got quite a little experience. Will partner with young Sam Prendergast, who is kind of being touted as the heir to be for Johnny Sexton, which is a pretty big backing to have, but at about, I think, 19 years old. I think he might have turned 20 already, but a very young player, and let's see what he's all about. Very exciting player, has everything. Very good goal kicker. Yeah, he turned 20 in February, and very keen to sort of see how he goes tomorrow. Dave Carney and Tommy O'Brien, 2 wings. Ben Brownlee and Liam Turner in the midfield. Chris Cosgrave at full back. Then off the bench is Ty McElroy, Ed Byrne, Thomas Clarkson, Alex Soroka, James Cullen, Ben Murphy, Charlie Tector, and Bob Russell. The Lions have got to go out and be ruthless at the end of the day. They cannot sit there and think, oh, this is Leicester, and we got to show them the respect they deserve. You actually need to go out there and not show them the respect to a certain degree. You got to go out there and say, this is a second, third team stride, and we're going to put them away. And that doesn't mean you can be complacent. It means you have to be ruthless. Because you can't go, oh, it's a second, third team stride, we don't have to get out of first gear. Or you can go and sit there and say, listen, we've got to get there. We've got to show these guys that they've got no hope put them away early, and really go and get the result. Let me know what your score predictions are down in the comments below. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon. Right, hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports, and game number 2 of the day for South African teams is about to get underway in about 15 minutes. It is the Lions taking on Leinster over at Emirates Airline Park. A very exciting game, very exciting spectacle. It was a double header. We had the Bulls, who just absolutely decimated Zebra earlier on at Emirates Airline Park. So, yeah, I hope the Lions are looking to take a leaf out of their fellow South African side's book and also try and go for a very big win today. They need it at the end of the day. If they have any hope of making it the final 8, they've got to go out and win 2 games with a bonus point, and then hope that somebody along the line does sort of slip up a little bit. That is the only chance, the real sort of chance of making the last 8. So at the end of the day, what I've been saying sort of the entire week is that you've got to be able to control what you can control. And you can't control what the other results are, but you can control what this result is. It's a weakened Leinster side that will come out and still believe that they are playing for Leinster, because obviously they are, and that therefore they need to go out and win. Lions need to snap that hope out very quickly. They need to go out and be aggressive and make sure that that Leinster understand that you can't just rotate things and get your way. You know, this Lions side, they've been very inconsistent. Quite a few injuries in the camp as well. When you think of no Manus Tuka who banned, no Ruan Fenter, no Ras Mapane, for example, all sort of all out with injuries. No Henk van Wyk, who's been out for most of the season with an injury as well. So they're very stretched on the Lions at the moment from a squad point of view. But it doesn't matter. You're playing at home. You're back at home. This is probably your last game at Emirates Airline Park for the season, and probably your last chance at having a go at trying to make that last 8. So go out there, play some good rugby, be confident, go and show the fans. It does look like it's a reasonable crowd that's creeping in there. Go and give something to fans to celebrate. Go and give them something to watch. It's been an up and down season. And so, we kind of feel that I wouldn't say we're owed, but, we'd like to see them come and give something of it back. In terms of the players playing for Leinster, there are a couple of good players in, and none other than a Jason Jenkins, who is back and will be playing in this game. And he was speaking to the media a bit earlier this week about playing in South Africa and sort of coming back here. So let's go and see what he had to say, shall we?
Yeah, I think it's very exciting to go home for a bit, play at altitude again, and it's nice to show the boys where we come from, where we played through age group, and it's gonna be good.
Indeed. Obviously, Munster haven't made the cut this year. How do you feel about their current performance?
Yeah, I think they started off. They obviously started off poorly in the season, but I think with new coaching staff taking over and trying to play a bit of a different brand of rugby, but I think they've really started to find their feet, and they've played a lot better. The last say 6 to 8 games. They've really showed what they're looking to do. So I'm sure it's only a matter of time before everything clicks down there.
You played for the Bulls yourself. Are you surprised they didn't get into the last 4?
Yeah, I think obviously it's a bit of a different challenge, traveling up north, different style of rugby. So, always, if you have to support a team back home, it'll always be the Bulls, having played there for many years. But yeah, I think they're also in a bit of a rebuilding phase, and I think they're on the right track as well.
Good luck with the trip.
Thank you very much.
Hi Jason, how are you? Michael here in RTE.
Hi Michael.
Can you just tell me, you're already qualifying as top seeds. Is there specific other goals that you set yourself for this 2-match trip to South Africa? What are you talking about as a squad, and what's on the list to take out of this trip?
Yeah, look, I think for us it's keeping that standard. We want to stay undefeated for the season. I think it's definitely sort of an unspoken goal amongst the players, and So the trip, even though we've already qualified and we've got the home quarter, these games are still important, and you never know with injuries. Guys playing this week could have to step up into Europe or into quarters and playoffs for the URC. So everybody's got to be ready. Everybody's got to have know the game plan, know their roles. So I think it's very important to take these games seriously as we do, and so I think that's the main focus for us for these next 2 weeks.
Have you been given an extra leadership role? Are you expected to kind of take on a bit more, despite the fact you're just in Leinster a year? Have you been asked to do much more over these next couple of 2 weeks?
I wouldn't say anything specific, but I think naturally going down south, coming from there, I think naturally I'll tend to step up a bit more, speak up, give my advice where I think we can do things differently, or ways that we should approach certain things. So even in terms of travel or anything like that, off-field and on-field things. So nothing, no extra pressure has been put on me, but it's something I look forward to. As I said with the previous interview, just showing the guys around, giving them a bit of advice and tips and things like that.
For the last maybe 10 years, Leinster have always benchmarked themselves on how they perform in Europe. How aware is it, or did you know about that immediately you came to Leinster, that it's really can be considered not a successful season if you don't get to a final or take home that Heineken Champions Cup?
Yeah, I think that's obviously one of the main goals. But I think as a team, we'd like to get both trophies in our cabinet for the season. So, we wouldn't necessarily focus more on one competition than the other. We want to sort of set that standard of winning and constantly being on top. So, whether it's a game with younger guys coming through, whether it's a game with all the internationals here, you put on that Leinster jersey, regardless of the game or the opposition, we want to win.
Just the last one for me. Can you just tell me a bit about playing and training with James Ryan? Because he obviously burst onto the scene with Ireland and Leinster 4 or 5 years ago, and kind of went off form there for a spell, and now seems to be even back to his best, or equally as good as he was. What's it like training and playing with him? What sort of person is he?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, not even just as a player, he's got incredible leadership style as well. And, it's really someone I can bounce a lot of ideas off. I take a lot out of his game. He's very physical. He's very skillful. He's got everything a modern day lock needs. So for me, really, I'm learning a lot from him. He's an incredible guy off the field, incredible player. He's he's a quiet leader. He leads with his actions. Which I really respect.
Right, Jason Jenkins there talking about the clash that we're about to see starting in just 5 minutes' time over at Emirates Airline Park. And we've got a poll running in the comments. I'd like you guys to go and vote on it and let me know who you are backing. It's almost got 100 votes, so we're gonna finish that. And very quickly, a big shout out to BetCoza who are powering the stream. If you would like to get yourself a BetCoza account, please go and check the link in the description. We do have a weekly betting segment in our fan forum, which happens on a Thursday with our resident betting specialist, Chris. And we are doing very well, actually. The Bulls one was another win for us. So we're up quite a while at the moment in the season. So if you'd like to join that trade, then go and get yourself a BetCoza account, link in the description. And then come and tune into that show and go and see if you can win a bit of money. And then very quickly, if you're looking to watch the match, check out the description. It is being shown on RTE2. So if you go and get yourself a ExpressVPN, you can then go to a UK server and watch this match for free, as well as the Stormers versus Munster match, which is directly after this. So go and get yourself sorted. There's 4 minutes left. That should be more than enough time for you to get yourself ExpressVPN and go and watch the game for free on RTE2. You don't even have to log in or anything like that. Also, as I said, the Stormers versus Munster game will be available there as well. So you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But this is a big game for us, for the Lions players. It's a game where we cannot afford to give Leinster a chance. We've got to try and put them away nice and early. It's a very depleted Leinster side. It's a young side that'll come out there with a bit of confidence and think, got nothing to lose. We need to go out and play well. The Lions need to go and treat them like the young side they are and make sure that they don't give them a sniff. Right now, the poll is very split between 50-50 between who's going to win between the Lions and Leinster. Leinster undefeated this season, so this would be if the Lions were to beat them, would be the first time that Leinster would have lost the entire season. They have drawn a game, but they have not lost the entire season. So will the Lions be the first team to beat them? We're about to find out in just a few minutes. We'll go through the teams in just a bit. But welcome to the stream. Tim says Lions to one up at the Bulls and put 100 past Leinster. I imagine. Philip saying, are you using the stream for the link in your comment section? I'm using Supersport myself, but that does work. We have tested it earlier to make sure it does work. ExpressVPN, UK server, RTE2, all the links in the description. And you can watch all this action live and in HD on a free broadcaster. And going to go look at the teams in just a bit. I want to know where you guys are watching from, who you're rooting for. And can this young Lions side beat a younger Leinster side? Let's look at the two teams, shall we? For the Lions, Reinhard Rensberger, very young, Luce gets an opportunity. PJ Buerta keeps the spot despite a pretty torrid time for the Lions last weekend in Glasgow. Asanate and Clavicania on his birthday will pack down at tight 10. Willem Alberts in the second row next to Ruben Skuman. Jaco Kriel apparently playing what is going to be his last game at Emirates Airline Park next to Ruan Dalport and Franco Horn. Very interested to see what's going to happen to Jaco Kriel. That's pretty new news. 33 years old. Be interested to see if he's going back overseas or whether he is maybe hanging up his boots, which wouldn't surprise me either. Ruan Dalport gets his first start in the number 7 jersey. No Ruan Fente, who's out through concussion. Franco Horn at 8th man. Then the Humber partnering Gianni Lombard, Edel van der Merwe, Stian Pino on the 2 wings. Mario Slow is partnered by Manny Russ, Kewan Horn at full back. Off the bench for the men in red, Morne Brandon, JP Smith, Ruan Dreyer, Darren Landsberg, Travis Gordon, Morne Vandenberg, Rand Jonker, and Andries Kutsia. Leinster, who will be playing in white today, as said, I think it's 4 Irish under 20 players in action this afternoon. Michael Milner, Lee Barron, and Vak Abdeladze in the front row. Brian Deeney next to South African Jason Jenkins. We're quite cool to see how he goes. Reach Ruddock, always the constant in this Leinster side, and he'll captain the side in number 6. Will Connors, Max Deegan completing that loose trio. Nick McCarthy will partner very exciting young up-and-coming Sam Prendergast at fly-half. Dave Kearney and Tommy O'Brien, the 2 wings. Ben Brownlee, Liam Turner in the centres. Chris Cosgrave at full-back. Off the bench, Ty McElroy, Ed Byrne, Thomas Clarkson, Alex Soroka, James Collane, Ben Murphy, Charlie Tector, and Rob Russell. As Reece Ruddock does lead out his side at Emirates Airline Park. They were playing in white, and here comes the side in red. Jaco Kriel leading the side out for what is apparently his last game at the park. Who knew? Who knew? So does anybody know where he's going? Is he retiring? Is he going? So what's happening? Is he retiring or something? Who knows? It's just like the Lions. It's not just. Unless I missed something. Maybe I've got something in the announcement. Let me find out what Jaco Kriel is up to. Whether he's retiring or what's the story here. Yeah, see, there's nothing in the press release about it. So who knows? Who knows what the story is? But yeah, that is it. Anyway, Matrix says Leicester to win by 60. Lions should beat Leicester B side. I'm going to end the poll, and it's split right down the middle. In fact, Lions apparently have just drawn with a 50%. But yeah, pretty down the middle with regards to who's backing who in this team. For me, I got to back my Lions, boys. You got to back the lads to get the job done. These are my boys, and I back them all the time. And we've got kickoff. Sam Prendergast, the next Johnny Sexton apparently gets us underway, and it's an early touch underneath that ball for Ruan Dalport. And it's a solid carry from him as well. So then the Humber now. Going to Ruben Skuman. Good to see him back. It's been a welcome addition back to this Lions side in the last couple of months. Now Nahamba going back, first boxing of the day. Needs to find a good clearance. Looked like it was going to touch quite quickly. It's not the best clearance from Nahamba. So now an early opportunity here for Lee Barron to find his man and for Leinster to try to sort of settle in. I suppose as a young side, it's kind of what you want, isn't it? You want an opportunity to just get the ball in hand, get to hit your straps. 22-year-old Lee Barron does find his mark. Sam Prendergast looking for his man. It's a good carry there, but a good tackle as well by Ben Brownlee. Look at the line speed. Prendergast with the long pass out wide to Dave Kearney. He cuts inside and is brought down by Stian Pienaar. Now Max Deegan going the direct route. Reece Ruddock, captain for the day. Good Lions defence there. They lost a few meters here, have Leinster. Oh, it's a really good line. That mean run. That's a huge. Oh, there's no way he's going to go all the way. I'm so sick of this team. I am so sick of this team. How has a tight head prop just run straight through the entire bloody team and scored? That is so pathetic. That is so pathetic. I'm so done with this team. We just let a Georgian prop outgas half of the entire team. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That couldn't be a worse start if you asked for it. I mean, really? Yes, I cannot believe that. I cannot believe that. Yes, like it, man. Right, well, nice for all the build-up, all the things are starting well, making sure you don't give them a chance, making sure you start well and, bit yourself. No. Instead, we just let a bloody Georgian prop just cut our entire line in half and Walter for a try. Pathetic. Now be better and then we kick it dead. Guys, you have one job. Literally one job. I mean, really? Putting into the sun, fine. But, I mean, he's gone too far. Now it's going to be a scrum on the halfway line. For Leinster. Could have been a worse start if we tried. Leinster are heavier. That does help. They've got a very large Georgian prop. He's about 123 kgs, I think it is, at Leinster. But we've got Asnat and Clavacania on his birthday, so watch out for him. He's about to show people what he's all about. Gonna have a reset here. PJ Boyd said, if you lose a line out, I might actually get in my car, drive to Ayers Park, and tear up your contract. We'll send you off to the Griffins. I want good performances here, people. It's the last game at Emirates Airline Park. I want to win, and I want to see a good performance. Not just tight heads, just scoring tries for fun here. Now, big scrum here, boys. Put a bit of pressure on these Leinster youngsters. Yeah, it's a decent shove, and they do use it. Does anyone want to tackle him? It's a good step here, and lost the ball forward. Thankfully, did Brian Deeney, because Liam Turner was going on a run, and nobody really fancied stopping him. Actually, stepped inside of Senator Humber with ease, and thankfully, just completely missing that one there. Right, so now it'll be a Lions scrum. This is probably the only. This is the one part of the game where I back the Lions every single time. Their scrum is really good at the moment. Renner Rainsberger though on getting his first start. Interesting to see how he goes. You know, Asante Clavicani has been playing some brilliant rugby recently. Such an absolute mammoth of a human being. Very solid scrum there. Not too much movement, and Hammer is going to use it. He goes to Johnny Lombard. Lombard going to Marius Lowe. Marius Lowe looking going himself. He's brought down by, I think it was McCarthy in the end there. Good carry for Schoolman. The Hammer now going to Lombard. Lombard short to Ruan Dalport. Now back to Lombard. Lombard to Money Rats. Money Rats seeing a bit of space. Gets away from Rita Ruddock. Still going with Money Rats. Good carry from him. Turner was good though. That's such nonsense. Turnover here for Leinster. McCarthy going to the left-hand side. The kick in behind comes, and it's bounced over Johnny Lombard. He was retreating. He's still retreating as Johnny Lombard. And he's going to have to press this down for a goal line dropout. Chaps, just ball retention. Ball retention here, lads, and support play. This is what was so bad last weekend, is that whenever we had a couple of breaks, whenever we had something happening, there was very little support and there was turnover ball all the time. So it's got to improve. It does, and can touch in the full. I mean, that's so pathetic. That's it's three such basic. We've kicked into full the touch. Now on the goal line dropout, we've kicked into touch as well. We just give them a line inside 22. We have 5-meter line out. Back for the scrum. I think it's actually a scrum. Sorry, I'm not even allowed. It's a scrum. 5-meter scrum. Absolutely pathetic. Absolutely ridiculous. Deer in headlights. You get your biggest opportunity to try and actually do something the entire season. You get a last opportunity to try and push for a playoff position, and you start by making two of the most basic errors possible in rugby. Picks up to McCarthy. McCarthy's Prendergast. On the angle, there comes Turner. Big tackle, they're coming. McCarthy back to... he's lost the ball forward, thankfully. Goodness me. It'll be a Lions scrum. Cheapers, a bloody deer in headlights at the moment. Just settle into the bloody game and just sort yourselves out, you lads. Goodness me. Army hassled by an insect. Yeah, maybe this knock-on will be exactly what we need. Just to sort of settle into the game a little bit, chap. Lads, come on. Just settle into the game. Let's not, I mean, why do we look like the young side that hasn't played this competition the entire season? Just settle in and calm down. It shouldn't be us that need to calm down. You would think in theory it should be the young Leinster side who haven't played at this level of rugby, a lot of them. But yes, come on, lads. Pound for pound, you got to back yourselves to be better than them. So start playing like it and play with a bit of confidence and stop the schoolboy errors. Starting with a big scrum here, lads. Right, scrum on the 5-meter here. Big scrum needed. It's going to be a reset. They stood up here. PJ Bruder's not happy with things. Get your bind. Comes from the referee. All right, come on, lads. Big scrum, yeah. Big scrum. I just want to see Asanate and Clavicania hammering a loose hit. That's all I came here to see. I want to see the big lad on his birthday just giving Michael Milner a long day in the office. And PJ Botha's popped up again. Free kick to the Lions, so it's against Leinster. And I just need someone to hammer this very far down the park, get us out of this position, just get us down there. And then we can start again. And Nahamba's going to find touch, not a bad touch finder, but Leinster still very much the upper hand here. They'll have a attacking line out, and you can see PJ Botha just popping up here. Right, let's try and keep people line out, lads. And let's shore up the defense. At the moment, the defense looked a little bit leaky. Lee Barry in the second line. The first one was pretty good. We don't compete. Jason Jenkins has dropped the ball, though. There'll be a scrum. There we go. Come on. Jason Jenkins trying to sort of almost out the back door, trying to get that pass down. Why don't we sign Jason Jenkins? Why don't we just ask him whilst he's here? Listen, like, the weather's nice. This is autumn weather. You know, like, it's going to be rainy back in Ireland. Just stay here. Sign a long-term contract. Imagine Jason Jenkins at the Lions. Exactly the type of player we should be signing, which is why we won't sign him. He's exactly the type of player I'd really like to see the Lions go and actually try and sign. Come and enhance your Springbok ambitions. Get yourself back into the national setup by putting in some massive performances in for the Lions. Come on, big scrum here, lads. Big scrum here. Clavicania is working hard there. Nahamba does have to use it. Goes to Johnny Lombard. Skips out to Money Russ. Money Russ go to Kieran Horn. Looking up the line. Kieran Horn into the Leinster half. Good carry there from them. Marius Lowe in a scrum half. Goes to Johnny Lombard. Johnny Lombard with the cross kick. To Frankie Horn. Yaka Creel. And then Frankie Horn winning the penalty. Come on. There we go. Not sure the cross kick was the right option there from Johnny Lombard. It's worked out quite nicely. And I'm not sure who it was from Leinster. It was completely isolated. Frankie Horn making the tackle. Then Yaka Creel getting himself into a good position for the jackal. And once he was removed, Frankie Horn then replacing him there with his hand on the ball, winning the penalty. And now Snare Nahamba can kick us towards the try line. Unfortunately, it does mean that PJ Botha has to feed the line out, which, yeah, we lost 5 last weekend. 5. Right, what can we conjure up for our first CP? Hey, we won it! That's the first start. And Yaka Creel comes to park, gives to Edel van der Merwe. Edel van der Merwe to half gap. Edel van der Merwe steps on the outside. He's still going into Edel van der Merwe. He's over. Come on! Edel van der Merwe. Get him a Springbok jersey. The man in the scrum cap with all the footwork and the desire. And the crowd goes wild. Edel van der Merwe. I don't know why we're looking at Marius Lowe. Unless you offload it to Marius Lowe in the thing, but pretty sure that's Edel van der Merwe. Yeah, I don't know why we're focusing on that. But look at this. Little set move here. Edel van der Merwe, bang, inside. Steps away from one. Still going, still going. Crashes over. Thank you very much. Nothing like seeing a South African outside back with a scrum cap. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. Bang. Off the upright there for Joey Lombard, apparently. Good restart there from Willem Albert. So a 2-point game. Oh, but can't need a kick yet, Snare. It's a pretty good drive here, though, for the Lions. Good work here. We made quite a lot of progress here. We're still going here, lads. Up to the 10 meter. Got a bit of a run on us. Question is, are we going to be able to get this ball out when it does stop? Still going. We're still going. Asinati and Klabakanya's got there. And penalty advantage as well. Yes, lads. Come on. Thank you. Thank you. This is the forward pack performance we kind of needed to see. These are the kind of moments we needed to see. From the kickoff, bang, get the rolling ball going all the way up to the halfway line, and they win a penalty for collapsing the ball. So then Hammer's going to kick to the corner. Right, so 9 on the 22. Yeah, PJ Butcher with ball in hand. Ruben Skuman, Willem Albert, the suspect. Let's go to Ruben Skuman. That Creel breaks, but this time he's going to go himself. That Creel is going to go himself. Oh, he's going to get the offloads away. He's gone forward off Marius Lowe. Go back for the scrum. Almost should have just taken contact there, Jakob Creel, but it was a nice variation. And they were so worried about the offload, seeing as that was the one that happened last time. And just trying to offload, and it's just into the chest of Marius Lowe. Well, 2 lineouts, 1, which is probably the most positive thing because our lineouts lately have been pretty dreadful. Right, come on, lads. Big scrum here. Big scrum here. Let's put them under a bit of pressure here. Sounds are pretty solid at the moment. Now McCarthy will look to find touch. And he does. And Kieran Horn will not take quickly. So happy to set up another set piece. Yeah, so it's about halfway between the 10 meter and the 22. So another good opportunity here for the Lions. Looks like it's going to be a 5-man line out. They go short to Willem Alberts. Nahamba goes to Asinati and Klabakanaya, who's been chopped by his ankles. Good tackle on him. Now Nahamba going to Marius Lowe. Marius Lowe going to Johnny Longman with the lap around. Bringing in Frankie Horn. Go, Franca. Just up to the 22. Good handling there from the Lions. Now Willem Alberts going the direct route, as he usually does. Nahamba straight to Lombard. Lombard flat to Reynard Rainsberger. Good tackle on him coming from, I think it was his ops number. Now Manny Russ steps in the back on the left boot of it. He's not got a lot of size, Manny Russ, so relies on his feet. Rainsberger, once again, tackling very low on Leinster. Now Nahamba goes to Skuman. Skuman to Kieran Horn. Kieran Horn bringing in Franco Horn. Franco Horn starts to go himself, takes the contact. Counter coming in. Slow ball now from Nahamba. Ruben Skuman. Oh, getting the open away to PJ Porter. Go, PJ! And it's going to be turned over because there's zero support. We do this all the time. As soon as there's a break, there's never any support. That's a brilliant kick, by the way. It's a great deal, but it's just no support. I mean, you make a break, make a line break, and then there's just nobody backing you up. And all of a sudden, we're back inside our own half. A bit of treatment here for Asnate and Clavicanye. It could be a bit of blood. Yeah, it's a bit of a blood nose for him. Yeah, it should be just a bit of blood there, so it should be all good to continue. The big tight head. But in some sublime form recently. Right, PJ Boyton now. Going to the back of the line out, and it's been stolen. There's the first one of the day. I've never seen him go a game without his missing line. And speaking of missing tackles there, somebody needs to turn in to tackle him. Good carry there from Will Connors as well. Prendergast going short. Oh, it's a huge hit though. Goodness me. Brian D's been hammering that tackle. Not too much on, so Prendergast is going to go to the boot. And Stian Pino's done very well there. Throwing the ball back inside. Gives it away to Kuhn Hall. Kuhn Hall wants to run. And it's not the best clearance, but it is the clearance. It was a good, it was well scrambled behind him for Stian Pinot. So the Lions weathering a bit of a storm and a bit of pressure here. Come on, lads, let's compete for a line out chat, shall we? No, never mind. Reese Roller goes up. And back on the angle there. Asnate Clavicanye making the tackle. Big coming carry there for Michael Milner, just outside 22 here. Big carry coming. Lions defense needs to, he's going to be tested here again. Almost a bit of a lazy runner there in Jason Jenkins, but didn't impact play. Abdelad to the try scorer, now Prendergast. Ball over the top. Dave Kearney now. Yakriel getting over that ball as well. Slowing things down slightly. It's good retention here from Leinster. They're going into their 9th phase. Carry there for Michael Milner. Prendergast inside. To Dini. Max Deegan, who's been quite involved so far as a ball carrier. McCarthy goes to Will Connors. Going to the left-hand side to Prendergast. Long ball out to the top, and that's straight out. Yeah, Kearney had no chance there. It was a pretty poor pass from Prendergast, just over the top, trying to show that cut pass to his wing. And just over it, and just tackle by Stian Pino as well, just for his, just for good measure. Please do smash like on the video, by the way. Let's try and see if we can get up to over 100 viewers. Come on, people. It's the last game of the season for the Lions at Emirates Airline Park. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. We have gone past 24,300, which is what we wanted to go into this game with. And Stian Pino just taking a bit of time down there. A bit of a knee. Also, Leinster player down receiving some treatment. And it's the try scorer, Abdeladze, who's receiving the treatment. Also need a good poll. What's the poll here? Give me a good poll here, people. Give me a good poll. Backtan Abdeladze, the Georgian international, 25 appearances for Leinster. As he goes and rejoins the lineup, he should be all right to continue. Scored a very good try early on. But to 20 minutes in, it's a 2-point game. And we will have a time on again. PJ Botha. This is the stuff of nightmares, watching PJ Botha feed a line. Good take there from Willem Alberts. And Ruan Delport does well. Wasn't the best pass, but does well to hang on. Lions do well to create a bit of an angle for Zinena Humber. He's asked for a couple of blockers. He'll go to the boot here, and he's finding a good clearance. And that's not a good clearance. In fact, he hasn't even exited the 22. So keeping us under a lot of pressure are the lads. Got to get ourselves out of the situation, you lads. You can't defend for the entire game, and I'd rather not play in this part of the field. Need to try and progress. So a lot of territory here for Leinster. They're going to attack now on the 22. Lee Barron once. Oh, that's not straight. Yeah, thank you. I mean, jeepers me, that was horrendously skewed. I don't know why we're not competing though. I don't know why we're not. I mean, it's a young hooker. Why would we not compete? Why would we not try and throw ourselves into the mix there? I mean, he's 22 years old. Let's put a bit of pressure on him. It's like a 7th game for Leinster. He's barely played at this level. Let's go and jump there. Let's put pressure on. He's thrown in skew and he wasn't even under pressure there. Here's Jacques Nielberg, traitor. That's a terrible poll. Why would you call him I mean, the guy spent like 2 decades in South African rugby coaching here. He's been coaching in South Africa since 2007, apart from that 2-year stint in Munster. Is he a traitor? Wow. I mean, the amount of abuse the poor Oak gets, I'm not surprised he's going overseas. Right, scrum here, lads. Big scrum needed. So far, been very little between the two teams. Frankie Hall gives it to Senna Humber. He's got much more time now to find a much better clearance. It's another terrible clearance. Humber, what are you doing here, lad? And we're barely outside the 22. Come on, man. We're stuck inside our half here and just not doing anything to get ourselves out of it. Let's compete. Let's compete. No, we don't. We just not compete. I don't understand why you're not competing. Why would you not try and throw off a young... Well, I suppose he's doing a lot of mistakes by himself. Johnny Lombard intercepted that and he's put it to the boot. Bit of a... Oh, he's put it to the boot again. And there comes Manny Russ. It's gone for Johnny Lombard. He's gone all the way. Come on! On the counter-attack. Never mind. I take it all back. There's no need to compete because Lee Barron has thrown a horrible pass. It's bounced right up in front of Johnny Lombard. He's kicked it through. He's managed to maintain the pace, kicked it through again. It's popped up, and he's gone from it, literally just outside 22. He's gone over. The Lions are ahead for the first time. And that's a big relief. That's a little bit of a bonus. A nice little kick in my head from Johnny Lombard. And it just didn't look like it was ever going to come up. And, ball gets away from Kearney, and he just keeps going. It's Johnny Lombard. Ball pops up. Bang, and over he goes. Johnny Lombard, he's not had the best couple of months here, but... That'll give him a lot of confidence. Right, Amber, you need to nail this, chap. It's a 3-point lead. I like to make it a 5-point lead. Yeah, looks pretty good. Down the middle. Good kick from Senna Humber. There we go. There we go. Good stuff here, lads. It's a great try from Lombard. Never been short of pace as Johnny Lombard, but short of confidence at the moment. Hopefully that'll give him a lot. And a test there for Franco Horn. Gets underneath it nicely. So no repeat of the rolling ball we saw last time, but it's fine. More importantly, we've had... And now I need a good kick from you, Sinead. Now he's going to go to Ruben Schoolman to try and create a bit of it. And the ball's gone loose. Thanks, Ruben. That's exactly what we bloody need. Score a try, and then knock it on and concede a scrum. Come on, man. I hate when that happens. It's the most frustrating thing. You've gone and scored a try. You've done something so well. And then something as simple as just one phase to create a bit of angle for your scrum off, and we knock it forward. Give them a scrum on the 22. Allow them right back into the game. And the panel in Supersport was talking before, and so true. It's about the Lions' error rate. And that's the biggest problem with the Lions, is that their error rate is so high. That they have moments of brilliance, but they will always allow teams back into the game because of that high error rate. I don't know how you change it, to be honest. But we've got to get better with our discipline. We can't concede as many mistakes as we do. So Leinster scrum just inside the 22. Big attacking scrum. They've got the full left field to work with, which is pretty much the primary attacking. So once again, there's lots of issues here. And Leinster just not getting down and taking the hit here. Referee, you got to get involved here. Yeah, have a chat to this Leinster front row because they're not getting involved here. I don't know if they're scared of scrumming, but if you're a prop, you're gonna have to scrum. You're gonna have to get past that mental block in your game, mate. If you don't like scrumming, you're in the wrong position. They go down the right hand side. Dini picks it up. And he gets away from the one tackle. He's still going. Somebody's going to be held up over the try line. It's actually not the worst result. Jeepers me. It was a marauding run. And I think, to be fair, they kind of then decided, well, you might as well just bring him on over the try line and get that goal line dropout. But he slips the tackle of Ruandalput far too easily. Ruandalput gets hit in the complete wrong position. Frankie Horn's trying to get involved. Johnny Lombard gets involved, as does Jack Creel and Sen Nahamba. And there's just a lot of arms on there. Now, Kieran Horn needs to just hammer this downfield. As he does, gets up to the 10-meter line on Leinster. Now, Reece Ruddock. Well, one thing he's going to do, he's not going to kick. He's going to hit a big hit. He's going to need a big kick. Comes from Sinatra and Clavicania. Big counter coming from Willem Alberts as well. But Leinster do keep McCarthy going to Prendergast. Steps back inside. Somebody needs to make a tackle. Almost slipping the tackle there. It was Ben Brownlee. Prendergast now popping up to Chris Cosgrave, and it's oh my goodness, it's Liam Turner. He's gone straight through. Where's everyone? How is it that easy? Where is Kieran Horn? Where is any cover defense? Why is it as soon as they made any line break, they're going over? That's the second time. As soon as they make a line break, they're going straight over. Well, it is simple and basic because there's no lines defense. See, it goes straight through, bang, but then there's no one. Johnny Lombard's got to get across there. You've got to get across there, mate. There's no cover defense. We cannot have a defensive system. I mean, they weren't even that close. They were outside the 22. Well outside the 22. We cannot have a defensive system where if you make a line break, 40, I mean, like 30 meters out from the try line, it's an instant try. All right, so another kick for Sam Prendergast. This one's slightly more difficult, but still pretty straightforward. And this will be for the lead as well. Yeah, and pretty good. He's a very good goal kicker. As a lot of people have been mentioning in the build-up here, kicked at 90%, over 90% during the under-26 nations. Right, now let's try and keep this restart within the field, Kewan. Let's not push this into touch. Yeah, it is a bit better. And in front of Merber tackles as well. Get it away to Dini. But it's a good chase. So well inside the 22. Now Nick McCarthy will clear. Aim is to go into half-time. A 2-point game. McCarthy. I don't know if that's going to find touch, I don't think it's going to find touch. Johnny Lombard, good kick from him. Bringing in in front of Merber down the blind side. In front of Merber. Needs a bit of support. Looks like a bit of afters going on. Penalty advantage, actually, for the Lions. Yeah, high tackle. Number going to Willem Alberts. Willem Alberts going himself. Nahamba going to Rensberger. Johnny Lombard going to Edel van der Merwe. Edel van der Merwe goes himself. Steps inside. Still going. Offload to Nahamba. Oh my goodness! Sunil Nahamba. That is filthy. That is absolutely filthy. The no-look up the backdoor pass. Sunil Nahamba to Marius Lowe. The Lions are over, and that is one of the offloads of the season. Stop it, Sunil Nahamba. Goodness me. First of all, Edel van der Merwe. But that offload from Nahamba, how casual was that? So Edel van der Merwe goes bang, sells the dummy, goes inside. Gets his hand out. Stand Nahamba is not even looking. He's not even looking. Didn't even have a glance. He's looking straight at the defender and throws the out the back pass straight into the hands of Marius Lowe, who goes over. I mean, how? Just how? That's made my day, to be honest. We could lose this game, and I'm still going to be talking about that. That was absolutely sensational from Sene Nahamba, who was going to convert it as well. What a moment. Take a bow, Sene Nahamba. Marius Lowe, the try scorer, but the plaudits belong to Edel van der Merwe and Sene Nahamba. The dummy that Edel van der Merwe sold, and then that pass from Nahamba is filthy. Filthy. It should actually be illegal, to be honest. Right, that's 2 final replacements, by the way, for Leinster. McElroy's come on for Lee Barron. And Abdulatz has also replaced off 26 minutes. His race was run pretty early. Ewan Horn with a pretty deep kick. Doesn't find touch. Now Prendergast is chasing this kick. Doesn't seem too interested in it, to be honest. And Nahamba goes up and comes down well with it. So the Lions with the ball now. Just over 5 minutes left in the half. Back to Ewan Horn, who launched it from 22 to 22. And McCarthy will find touch. Not the best touch finder, though. So it'll be a Lions line just past 10-meter line. Much, much better. Much better from the Lions at the moment. Making a little more confidence. And a couple of balls that just bounced their way and just kind of growing into the game. And then a moment of magic from Sene Nahamba. Put that on repeat in the highlight reel. Goodness me. Young Creel popping up to Edel van der Merwe once again, popping up in that line-out set move. He's been very effective there. Nahamba now going to PJ Buerta. Sam Prendergast trying to rip the ball in the tackle. Nahamba now going to the left-hand side. Marius Lowe popping it to Lombard. Lombard going himself. Spins away from the tackle as well. Still going as Lombard. Eventually goes down, making a few yards. Line starts out at 22. Nahamba going to Asanate and Clavacania, who's left on quite quickly. Quick ball though is available for Nahamba. He wants to go down the left-hand side once again. Going to Money Rush to Marius Lowe. Good hands. Franco Horn finds himself a bit of space on him. Still Franco Horn. Inside he goes. Franco Horn. Put him in the box squad. The Warren Whiteley reincarnated. And look at that. He must have skipped past about 3 players there. Thank you very much. That's what I like to see. That's what I pay the money to see. Not that I pay much money these days. I haven't bought a Lions shirt in a while. But Franco Horn, my boy. And you see, he's still got so much to do. I mean, he rounds McCarthy, gets away from Dean. He cuts inside of one. Franco Horn, you beauty. Individual brilliance. That's what we see in almost every single Lions try. It's a bit of individual brilliance. And the main thing is, and this is what the Lions want to do all the time, is you've got to keep this pace of play up. Because the whole point of playing at the altitude, it's not as hot as it would have been a couple of months ago. But the air is very thin up here, and we need to see those Leinster lads sucking in oxygen, struggling. What are we even looking at here now? Oh, we want to see a 4. Now, bugger off, man. Stop trying to be an enemy of progress. It's just a great try. Now we're looking at the direction of the hands here. Now we look at the forward pass here. Not clearly forward out the hands of the call. It's very flat, but I think if you look at his hands moving backwards as well, I think it's all right. But and also just appreciate the individual effort that from Frankie Horn. Also, if you're not watching this game, you could be watching it for free on RTE2 with a VPN. Sending the Humbers nailed the conversion, by the way. And so if you're not watching, you're missing out. You are missing out. Get yourself ExpressVPN and start watching some of the filth that's currently on display over at Emirates Airline Park. Frankie Horn, you beauty. 1, 2, and then gets away from McCarthy, gets away from Deeney, and then who does he step inside here? Bang. Well, I'll tell you what, Chris Cosgrave has just been introduced to the step of Frankie Horn. He just doesn't look. Speaking of the devil, again, he just doesn't, and the penalty as well for collapsing the wall. I love to see it. The thing with Frankie Horn is he's deceptively quick, because you look at him and he's not massive. He's not a massive guy, but he doesn't look like he's particularly quick. But he's got such a good skill set about him. He's over 100 kg. He's 1.9, so he's not small by any means. But he's got such a good turn of pace, and he's so good at shifting that weight from left to right. And we've just saw it in. Then the Hummer doesn't find touch. How is that not a knock on? I was about to say, referee. I mean, he did very well to keep it in to Tommy O'Brien, but he basically went in and threw it back forward, and it bounced many a yard forward. So he saved the line, but he's given us a scrum. Now the Lions have got to score one more before half time. Just as I said earlier, you can't allow them to get confidence. And the first 10 minutes was very shaky. I wasn't happy because we looked like a deer in headlights. Started so poorly, so many poor mistakes. Now the moment we're going into this game, let's now ride the momentum and really start to apply the squeeze here. He's asking, why does the beer look suspiciously like water? I don't drink, that's why. I don't drink alcohol. I'm a pure water man these days. Body the temple. Alf Lincoln saying he's loving this. Leonard Vinci saying, how's the B team before me? Look, they've had good moments, but they kind of switched off a couple of times, and all of a sudden the Lions are playing with a confidence we very rarely see. And I'm in for it. I am in for it. Now, Snender Hammer going himself. Got everyone to move. And almost a fantastic pickup of Marius Lowe. Managed to hold on to it. It doesn't knock on. That would have been another try. That pass stuck was another try. Right, so this will be the last play before half time. So I'll be very surprised if Leinster don't just kick this up. Possession 51% for the Lions, 49% for Leinster. So it has been pretty even. The Lions just have had a really good close to the half. Last 10 minutes have been very good. A counter-attack try from Johnny Lombard, and then two bits of moments of management. First one from Sinead Nahamba and Edel Panamova, and then Frankie Horn showing his class. And Leinster get out, and they'll kick it out. And half time, the Lions will walk in with a 12, and look how they're going to run it as well. And with a 12-point lead, it's exactly what they want, because the Lions are obviously always so good in the last sort of 10 minutes, sort of 10 to 15 minutes of the game when the altitude starts to kick in. So from me, so far, a pretty happy Lions fan. Would like to see us be a little bit more accurate on a defensive point of view. Not too much to complain about from the defense. We'll see you guys in a few minutes after half time. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. And again, if you're looking to watch the match, check out the description. We do have a guide on how you can watch the match on a free broadcaster. So go and check that out. And I'll see you guys in a little bit. Our boys, we're back. We're back. And what I need to see is more of the same in the last 10, 15 minutes, okay? None of this comeback nonsense. I want to be ruthless. I want to see my lads just continuing to hammer down this Leinster side and send these kids packing. It sounds harsh. It sounds harsh. But I've been through enough this season to not go and lose to a Leinster children's side. No. No. So that is the plan, okay? We're going to go out here and we're going to teach them what it's like to come and play at Emirates Airline Park. Because a lot of people have come here and found it pretty easy to play, to be honest. So it'll be nice if it's just somebody doesn't. But anyway, half-time, and we're about to get back underway. And the Lions are leading by 12 points, which is good to see. Pretty poor start to proceedings, and then managing to come back quite nicely. Much better restart that from Ewan Horn. And then from the Murphy, he was so good in that first half, putting himself up there to try and win it back. But, it was a good first half for the Lions. It was a horrible, horrible start. First 10 minutes, I was absolutely losing my marbles because we looked like the young side who hadn't been playing and were sort of very anxious. And once we started playing, we've played some pretty good rugby. I mean, we scored some pretty amazing tries. Penalty as well gets a nice start. There's been some filthy moments. And with what is one of the best offloads I've ever seen in a Lions jersey. And Frankie Horn as well, a moment of individual brilliance, beating 3 Leinster defenders right up against the touchline to go over his try. Edel van der Merwe has been having a lot of fun. Jack Creel's putting himself around the park in what is his final game at Emirates Airline Park. And now a good start to proceedings here with the early try here, because they would have had a very big, along sort of half-time talk about Leinster, about how they need to stick to the process and how they can come back. Got to snuff that out nice and quickly. Got to say, no. There's no comebacks here, lads. There's no comebacks. You're done and you're out. And that's the only thing we're going to talk about. So PJ Boerter needs to hit his man here, which probably looks like Ruben Schoeman. That's going to be Willem Alberts. They don't compete, so he does. That's Ronnie Moore. We saw a very good Ronnie Moore at the kickoff earlier, and that seems to have been formed quite nicely. We can get that ball out. That ball does seem to be sort of, I don't even know what's going on there. The ball's come out, and Hammer's come away with it. He's gone to Maurice Lowe. Maurice Lowe's gone back on the inside. Good work there for Money Russ there. It's going to the referee. We'll have a scrum. Nice little around the back pass there from Sinena Amber. We'll win a scrum from the Lions. He's just playing with so much confidence. I said he had that offload earlier. And I could see the vision. He was trying to throw it around to Johnny Lombard, who was wrapping around, hitting the referee. So it will be a scrum. Pity. It would have been a nice offload. Walter saying Lee Barron and Jason Jacobs are brutal in that first half. Blaze saying go Lions. Vic saying this Leinster side can't keep playing like this. They need to do better next week. They need to beat the Bulls. Look, to be fair, when they've had the ball, I wouldn't say they played badly. They've looked pretty good with ball in hand. They're just, defensively, they're just not, the systems aren't really in place, which is kind of what you expect from a team that hasn't played a lot of rugby this season and hasn't played together. I suppose that'll come, I suppose. But a good scrum there. Frankie Horn going to Maurice Lowe. Maurice Lowe going the direct route. Brought down by Sam Prendergast. Now Johnny Lombard going to Money Russ. Money Russ going to Edel van der Merwe. Running the hands here. Ewan Horn. Ewan Horn trying to get on the outside. Goes to Jack Creel. Comes back on the inside. I just like seeing Johnny Lombard playing with some confidence. Where's this Johnny Lombard team been the entire season? Steven Pienaar now. We haven't seen him do much of him with ball in hand. And good more attention this now. Money Rush, drawn pass. Jack Creel down there outside. Jack Creel comes inside. Good carry from him, the veteran. And now Stan Nahamba now almost been caught in it. Needs to try and keep that ball in. And get dragged and touched. There's the Stan Nahamba. Should have just thrown it in, to be honest. Jack Creel, they're getting involved. We're not quite sure what's happening, whether he's hanging up the boots or whether he's moving on to a different union. But this is his last game at Emirates Airline Park, his second last game as a Lions player, unless we make the playoffs. Ooh, that's actually a knock on there, I think, from Dave Kearney, to be honest. think it's going to be. I know he's all good. Going back to rejoin his line. So Leinster made 2 early substitutions, and after that was replaced after 26 minutes, and Lee Barron was hooked after 34. And so it's a very big kick coming from Sam Prendergast, and Stephen Pienaar does well to get back there. Throws back into Kieran Horn. Kieran's got a bit of space. There's been a couple of players on the right hand side as well if he wants to use it. He goes to the boot and lifting it high in the air. And it does it's allowed to bounce off Prendergast, and Kieran Horn gets it back. Never retreating. Now, I thought about it. He did look very stationary. It's a pretty stupid penalty to concede from in the Humber. And you talk about error rate, and there's just no need for this. You see, he doesn't retreat at all. Right, so line check for Leinster. And this time Lions do compete, and ball goes over the top. Yaka Creole's around there, and it falls eventually back to... Oh my goodness, it's fallen back to Prendergast in space. The bounce to the rugby ball. Jason Jenkins now. The Lions under a lot of pressure all of a sudden. Big defense needed here from the Lions. Pick up and go. That's well defended. Penalty advantage though. Schweppes. And they're over. That's so annoying. It is so annoying. From what we actually disrupted the line and won the line out. And just the ball bounced to the wrong person, and all of a sudden, Leinster are over for their third, and they go to within one try's reach of the Lions. That's very, very frustrating. It's so against the run of play as well. Michael Milner's been pretty good. He's been industrious as a ball carrier, the man who goes over eventually. Peter Willem, Adrian Pienaar saying, I'm a Bull supporter, go Lions. I appreciate the support. We're trying. Moments like that are not going to help our cause. But we'll keep trying. And Sam Prendergast, the young fly-half, does add the extra, so it goes back to being a 5-point game. You thought it went backwards. Oh, cool. So now we're looking at it might have been actually forward off Leinster, but we didn't have a check. We had a check at Frankie Horn's try. I didn't have a look at that. Surprised I didn't have a look at that, to be honest. It was so messy. There were so many hands and balls bouncing everywhere. I'm surprised I didn't have a second look. Deep restart from Kieran Horn. And that's into touch. Not a great touch by Nick McCarthy. And a lot of pressure. And Lewis looks absolutely shattered. Was it just me? So the opportunity here for the Lions. Come on, let's get back into this game here, lads. Go score the next point here. I'm going to put in a poll over here. Will the Lions hang on to win? Hang on to win the match is the poll. Please go and vote in the poll there. They go to Willem Albert to the front. Good line there as well. Rena Rensberger doing very well to try and keep 2 Leinster players at bay. Looks pretty messy. Now it's gone down. It's available for Sydney in the Humber as well. Goes to Manny Russ, who goes into the angle, and then he's trying to run around with Reece Ruddock, which is pretty impressive. And he's got a penalty as well for a high tackle. Offside is the call. Right, decision time. Probably go for the 5-meter line again there. This is good though. That's it. Just try and build a bit of momentum here, lads, because they'll be full of confidence. We've got to try and expunge that very quickly. We're going to put an end to it. Snip it out like it's a fire. Or we're going to take the 3 points. I don't mind taking the 3 points either. That's also a good decision. So we are taking the points, which is, you don't often see the Lions taking the points. Maybe that's an issue. Maybe that's one of the reasons why we've struggled so much this season. But right in front of the polls, I think it's a good decision. Take the points, get yourselves away more than a try away. The biggest thing is to win this match. You know, we've already scored 4 tries, so we've already got the bonus point. Now it's about winning the match. It's all about winning the match. They're getting all 5 points tonight. And he does add the extras, does Nene Nahamba. So that's a good response after conceding a try. It's a net loss, but it's still a good result. It's a good result to get some 4 points back on the board. Now let's just not stuff up the kickoff here. That's what we tend to do. It goes down this middle. Kieran Horn was away to the threat though. Takes it well. Long kick there. Good tackle coming from Aaron Rainsberg. I'm quite impressed with him actually. Now this is where Leinster are so dangerous. All the sort of shoulder running. It's a very nice tackle being made there by Stian Pino and Manny Russ. Now the replacement tight head. First time Leinster have really had pretty good solid ball. But who is that? Ruben Schoeman's got over that ball. Winning a penalty as well. Ruben Schoeman, you beauty. You absolute beauty. Love your work, mate. Love your work, Manier. Just as the Leinster were looking to build a bit of momentum, getting his hands in there, getting himself into a strong position. You don't see a lock getting into those positions too often, especially not someone who is built like Ruben Schoeman. He's just a grafter as Ruben Schoeman, an absolute hard grafter. Pretty good kick as well, by the way. Find ourselves by the 22. Right, JP Smith on as well as I think Ruan Drea. So Lions also changing their front row. Morris Lowe back on the angle. Number. And guess what? My favorite player, PJ Boerter has dropped it. I mean, really, chaps? Wasn't the best pass, I'll grant. Big scrum here now. We've got 2 new props on. Let's see what they can do. Pretty good scrum there. Now goes to Prendergast. He wants to bring out that torpedo, but you can see he doesn't like it. It's just gone straight off the side of his boot. Yeah, young fly learning his trade. And I think the words that he said there was, oh dear, as the rough translation of what was going on there. Dearing me maybe as well, could have come into that. Definitely was no F-balls being dropped by him. Very excited to see what he's going to play, how he's going to be as Sam Prendergast. Very exciting young player. However, if he could just not do it today, that would be great. Really appreciate that. And that's a miss. Another lost lineup. It's been one back from the Lions, thankfully. PJ Boerter getting bailed out with some good luck. Now Manny Russ. Good carry there for Money Russ. Edwin van der Merwe has also been very busy so far today. Now to JP Smith. Oh, that's a huge carry from JP Smith. The marauding prop. And Willem Alberts. Willem Alberts stepping across. Oh, all the people to get to. So in the Humber now, a bit of traffic. Oh, it's going to be a little bit knocked down. That's going to be a yellow card potentially. Yeah, it is a yellow card. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was about to be try time. Willem Albert, to tell you what, unfortunately, he's the last person I'd like to see in that kind of position where he's got to bring out the fancy feet work. But JP Smith, bang, sits down Reese Ruddock. And that's no small feat, eh? That is no small feat. And then the infringement comes with a deliberate knockout as he's trying to make that pass. I think McCarthy goes to the bin. No, can't have too much argument about that, to be perfectly honest. And we've lost it because we can't win a bloody line-out. How is PJ Botha still playing? I don't understand. How do we not have a hooker that can win a line-out? It's the most mental thing. That's the fourth line I think he's lost today. So we're going to have a bit of break and play here, which is going to allow me to bring up my cards. Right, so Leinster down to 14 men. They've got a yellow card. So there's my yellow card there. Deliberate knockdown. Pretty easy decision in the end for the referee to make. Right, the multiverse saying Bulls need to beat Leinster next week will be good for South African rugby. Well, let's wait and see, shall we? These are making a very good point, saying, well, I'm not taking the points. It's a good question. These are the questions that we ask ourselves all the time when it comes to these lads, but apparently not. Especially when PJ Botha is about to lose another lineup on the 22. Hey, we won it. Andre. Moore has gone down illegally so another penalty advantage. So then the Humber can use this though. And he goes to Maurice Lowe, wants to try and put the kick in behind. And it's just gone straight into a Leinster foot. So we'll go back for the penalty. We're going to go for touch again. I think the main thing is that we're winding down time deep in Leinster territory. That's the main thing for me. Let's just stay down here. We want to play rugby down here. One more try, and we're looking very good. Then it's just about defense and just seeing a game out. We came here and we said we got to get 5 points. The only way for us to get into that top 8 is 5 points. Now the Bulls will have gone up to 48 points, so Connacht will be the most sort of are currently in 8th. With 5 points, the Lions would go to 43 points. They go 1 point behind Connacht. They go ahead of Benetton and they go ahead of Cardiff. They go short there to Willem Alberts, and now here comes the Ronnie Moore. And they've shifted. Jack Creel's just short. Ball's available for PJ Botha. It's from the Humber. And they go to Maurice Lowe, shifts it on to JP Smith, who's working very hard. The ball comes loose. The camera doesn't know what's going on here. We've actually lost a few meters. That's a bit frustrating. Now the Humber goes to Ruan Dreyer, former Springbok tight head. Manny Russ runs into Reese Ruddock. The Humber going to Willem Alberts. The brute force of Willem Alberts. Good into defense, must be said. JP Smith, the first receiver, giving it to Maurice Lowe. Mario slow to Kieran Horn. Kieran Horn. Flat to Evan comes inside. Gets away from 1. Up to the 5 meters and the hammer back inside. And JP Smith does very well. Willem Albert's just continuously working hard. Cut out pass. Corn just short. And that's got to look I mean, that's potentially another yellow card here. I mean, first of all, JP Smith has scored this. It would be the best finish by a tight head in the history. I mean, by a loose head in the history of prop rugby. There's got to be a yellow card here. This has got to be another yellow card. Surely this is another yellow card. It's another deliberate knockdown. Yeah. Yeah, so there's no finish, but it's clear offside and deliberate knockdown. I tell you what, I'd be very surprised if it's not another yellow card. It's a clear try scoring opportunity that they then just denied. Willem Alberts, though, can we just have a conversation about Willem Alberts? Made the most tackles so far today. He's been absolutely relentless with his carrying. Man's 38 years old. He turns 39 next month, by the way. In less than a month, he'll be 39 years old. You've got to think this is his last season in rugby. But goodness me, has he worked hard today. Yeah, I reckon we could be another yellow card territory here for Leinster. So the big thing for the Lions here is that the Bulls are 48 points. The Lions go to 43. So the Lions can get a maximum of 48 points. So the maximum they can do is tie with the Bulls. So the Lions are not going to go ahead of the Bulls. They can go ahead of the Sharks, though, if the Sharks lose next week. And they can go again. So Connacht need to lose tonight. That's the big thing from the Lions' perspective. If Connacht lose tonight, then the Lions dare to dream. It is still a big dream, but they can dare to dream. And Connacht are playing this evening. It's the last match against Cardiff, who are in 10th. You gotta be a yellow card, you lad. Surely it's another yellow card. This is a penalty try, potentially. Yeah, it's a yellow card. I think they're actually looking for a penalty try. I think a penalty try would be generous to say that they would have definitely scored in the corner. I mean, the man is JP Smith. Although, exactly, JP Smith. The flair of JP Smith. Yeah, yellow card. Cheers. Had to be. It had to be. That's a professional. That's a professional foul. So 2 yellow cards to Leinster and a penalty try for the Lions. And Chris Crossgrave will make way. And this is not what Leinster needed at all. Down to 13 men. Lions, can you please, because we are so good at not using a one-man advantage, can we please use a two-man advantage and score some points? Like, let's get involved here. Let's get involved here. We cannot get complacent. Reece Ruddock has been replaced, by the way. Frankie Horn's a big tackle on him. The Lions do retain possession. Come, Daps, we need to... It's speed at the play here. Now Johnny Lombard is hammering this out down the middle of the park towards the left-hand side. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Prendergast trying to bring out the takers and stop the ball. And it's gone out and, off his boot. Johnny Lombard's not very happy. Not quite sure why. Didn't touch it. Didn't touch my ass. How's the Leinster line? No ways he didn't touch it. Very much like he touched it. His reaction said it all. Right, so 20 minutes to go. I'm going to end the poll saying, will the Lions hang on to win? And 72% have said yes. We've won the line out. Oh, that was beautiful. What? That was it. Does the second guy go up? Oh my goodness, that is so... Only the Lions will be penalised for 2 receivers. How have we managed to do that? Yeah, JP Smith not involved in the line, Anthony and Hammer not involved in the line out. Well, you've got JP Smith and PJ Boertse. Why? How? Only the Lions could do that. Only the Lions could go up, win a line out at a clutch moment, and then concede a free kick for having 2 receivers. They're down to 13 men, and we haven't been able to touch the ball. I'll tell you, we're quite impressive when we want to be. Because we're basically like, we like to show you guys all the laws, you know. We like to show you exactly what you can be penalized for. Like, if you didn't think you could be penalized for, we'll show you that you can. That's what we do. It's like it's like a way of giving back to the game, isn't it? Sigh. Right, big scrum you needed, lads. Leinster currently without 2 backline players. So, yeah, if they were to find a line break here, I would actually lose it. 15-point leads with 90 minutes to go. You do very well to lose from here. Big scrum coming from the Lions as well. Jakob Kriel getting up nice and early as well on Culhane. Doesn't roll away. Penalty. I mean, come on, guys. Only, as I said, we win 2 yellow cards, then we can see free kicks and penalties and don't touch the ball. Shot call. That's an interesting decision. I suppose it runs the clock down a little bit, but with 15 points, I suppose it brings you back to within 2 converted tries. It's bold. Right, you'll have the distance, no doubt, and he's got the accuracy. So Leinster do close within 12, 2 converted tries. But now this is important for the Lions. Nice deep restart, force a clearance from them, get ball in hand. Let's start attacking this 13-man Leinster before they get a man back. And they're missing a scrum half and a fullback. It's pretty important positions. And Christopher says, season Leinster has 2 yellow cards. It should help 100%. Lions will dominate without the yellow cards. Yep. And Daniel says, don't know what Leinster was thinking, sending a team with pretty much no internationally capped players. Well, I don't think it's really about internationally capped players, is it? Because the Lions have got, what, Willem Alberts, Ruan Dre, and Jakob Kriel. That's it. That's the only capped players we've got on our side. But look, the Leinster do this though. You know, you've earned the right to do this by finishing first. You've gone and won your side top thing. Now you can say, right, let's go and send the young lads out to South Africa and play a bit of ruggers. And the other guys will sit at home and get ready for the Champions Cup semi-final, final URC playoffs. They've got to win 5 more matches after the next 2, and they've won 2 trophies. So I definitely think it's the right decision from them. And they've gone short to JP Smith. We need to win a penalty and get some nice scrums or something. Franco Horn. Now we're on Dalport. First start for the Lions today. A little bit quiet. The Humber now. Lombard. Marius Lowe to Edel van der Merwe. Edel van der Merwe looked to add a bit of pace. Drawing past. Kieran Horn getting the outside. Kieran Horn coming back on the inside. Always an exciting ball carrier is Kieran Horn. Now sending the Humber. Going to PJ Boertse. PJ Boertse popping up to Lombard. Lombard to Marius Lowe. Marius Lowe's passed a lot more today. Oh, JP Smith with so much space. Give it to Franco Horn. Oh, he sells himself. Still going, Franco Horn. Oh! No ways that they called that obstruction. Yeah. I have to relook at this. I didn't think there was. Yeah, there. JP. Franco shouldn't have actually met. To be fair, it's not JP Smith's fault. Franco Horn should never come on the inside there. Chaps, when they're down to 13 men, we shouldn't have to work that hard for this. Stop giving the ball away. They're now back to 14 men. I think McCullough's about to come back on. As I said, only the Lions could go down to 13 men and just not have the ball and not capitalize on it. Right, people, I want to do a poll for man of the match. So I need some nominations. Nomination man of the match. I'd like to throw in Edwin van der Merwe. I'd like to throw in Franco Horn potentially. But I also want to make this a bit of a democracy. So I want you guys to give me some nominations for man of the match. We're going to run a poll. And you guys are going to choose a man of the match for today. We did it in the Bulls game. And I think who won it? What did we do it last night? I think we did it last night. I think Dwight Williams won. I don't know if we did it in the Bulls. So yeah, give me some nominations for man of the match. Let's run a poll and see who we reckon has been the top performer in what's been a very good Lions performance so far. And let's hope it only gets better. Right, Leinster back to 14 men. So I can remove one yellow card. So yeah, we went down to 13 men and they actually scored 3 points. That's what the Lions can do. I mean, really, guys, I don't know why. We never capitalize when we've got a one-man advantage. We scored 36 points when we were. Oh, that's a great tackle coming in from, I think, that money Russ. Brendan Goss sees a bit of space down the right-hand side, trying to land the 22. It's going to bounce by Edwin van der Merwe though, so won't find touch. Right, Edwin van der Merwe, he's been so good. He wants to chip and chase here. He's chipped it, he's chasing. And the ball's bounced back from everybody. It falls back to Prendergast, who then dabs it in behind. Johnny Lombard and Sam Humber are back. So he's going to have plenty of time to find a clearance. And does find touch. Very good clearance that from Johnny Lombard. Right, Prince is throwing in Jaco Creel. You know what? It's his last game. I'll throw it in there as well. Who is your man of the match? And we're putting in Jaco Creel. We're putting in Edwin van der Merwe. And we're going to throw in Franco Horn as well. One stop is the call there. Lions have done very penalty advantage. About to say, I thought they've done very well to stop that. Long pass out there from Prendergast. Not a great pass. He struggled today as Prendergast. So you can see he's got talent, but I think just a pack that's going backwards and struggling. Once again, the Lions deciding not to keep ball in hand or really attack a 14-man Leinster side. We don't like to make things easy for ourselves. Right, so there's our poll. 3 nominations for man of the match. Leinster still down to 14 men, by the way. Since they went down to 14 and then 13, they've actually scored 3 points. Lions have scored none. Actually, I lie. We did score a penalty try. I lie. A penalty try did come with 14 men. Oh, Frankie Horn competed and it's fallen down. So Leinster lost a lot of field position, driven them back to 22. Good work there being done by Frankie Horn to contest that line out. Now Jason Jenkins, side 22. Defense now needed from the Lions. Advantage for not rolling. Another penalty advantage. I mean, Christ, guys. Travis Gordon onto the park as well, by the way. Little chip ahead from Prendergast, and the Humber is back there. He's going to pop 2. Shit, and he's done it as well. I mean, really, guys, how have we conceded 7, 8 points with a man down? They've got a man down. Not us. They've got a man down. Really, chaps? Really? Pretty big kick this, by the way. It's a 7-point game. Sam Prendergast kicked so well. But how is this going to be anything near being close? How they scored a bonus point against us when they've been down? I mean, it's pathetic. Yes, we can talk about Leinster, the heart and the courage and really well played. Dreadful stuff online. This is where you're supposed to be so good. The last 12 minutes at high felt, at altitude. And what do? We just allow them straight back into the game. We had a penalty try, for goodness sake. And then we're up to 13 men. The kick does go wide, though. So it'll remain a 7-point game. Chats, please can we just score another try and put this game to bed? I'm not in for a nervy finish. Not in for it. Not having it. Don't need to be going to the, into the Stormers game in a bad mood. We're going into the good mood. By the way, you don't have to do anything, by the way. Just stay on the stream and you'll get directed straight into the Stormers stream. I'll be live there just after 6. The stream is actually currently live, so it'll be redirected there. Q and Horn going very, very deep. And Murphy does find a clearance. Right, Morley Vandenberg onto the park. That's going to inject a lot of pace into the Lions gameplay here. And now look at some of the replacements here. So Travis Gordon is on, and he was on for Ruan Delport. Morley Vandenberg is on for Sanel Nahamba. Looking at any other subs at the moment, doesn't look like it. I don't think Darren Landsberg is on just yet. Morley Brandon is on, though, because he will take this line out. But both locks still on. And there we go. And they're back to being 15. So, I mean, we're so classic if we can now we score. Morley Brandon. Good line up there from Franco Horn. Jakob Creel doing well to take the ball on off the tap down. That's a nice carry there for Morley Brandon. Morley Vandenberg to Willem Alberts. Lines into the 22. I said Morley Vandenberg injects so much pace. Money Russ steps on the inside. A lot of Leinster players there just inside the 22 now. Morley Vandenberg going to Travis Gordon. Popping into Johnny Lombard to Marius Lowe. Marius Lowe tripping. Quick ball for Morley Vandenberg once again. This time it's Q and Horn. Backing himself. I like the confidence there. Oh, inside ball. Travis Gordon from Willem Alberts with the flair. Willem Alberts with the flair. Now, big carry there from Marius Lowe. Morley Vandenberg going to Travis Gordon. He's got Creel support there. Pick up and go, though, from Jakob Creel. Morley Brandon's lost it forward, man. Oh, he's been charged down as well by Morley Brandon. He tried to try and make amends. That was looking so good. 22. Right, so the restart. Johnny Lombard, right. Gives to Travis Gordon. Travis Gordon's going to get... Right, Lions back inside their own half. Chasmin, you got to play in the Leinster's half, yeah. Morley Brandon. I'll tell you what, he looks like he wants to carry quite a bit here, Morley Brandon. Out to make a point here. Morley Vandenberg. Taking a while. Long pass out to JP Smith, who does well to spin away from a couple of tacklers. There's no release there. He shouldn't be allowed to be playing this, referee. Morley Vandenberg, I think he's going to go to the boot here. I said, far too much confidence being shown here by Leinster. I need to try and make sure we score some points here. Morley Vandenberg goes high in the air. Stian Pienaar is chasing hard. And he's hit hard in the tackle there. Welcome to Johannesburg, says Willem Alberts. But now Leinster shifting towards the left-hand side. Trey Tector looking for an offload there. Morley Brandon making the tackle, getting over the ball and winning the penalty. Morley Brandon. I'll tell you what, PJ Boerter, your days could be numbered because Morley Brandon has put in a shift in the last 5 minutes that I've been very, very impressed with. To them, it's been turned around for offside. I mean, for Pete's sake. It's hard for Morley Brandon to operate when you guys are stuffing around you. And it's Manny Russ that's offside. Really? Morley Brandon does so well here. Chaps, no ways are we throwing this game away. Absolutely no ways. Here comes Darren Lansford, by the way, for Ruben Schoolman. A good shift from him. But this is a very impressive effort to throw this game away from the Lions, it must be said. And Stian Pienaar is also going to make way. I imagine that'll be for Andrews Coetzee. Yep. And Kuhn Horn will go to the wing. Once again, not competing. Oh, now how's that not obstruction? He's just spun around his own player. Oh, shit. I don't think he's gotten it down. He's almost got it straight through. I do want to go back and look at the obstruction, though, because he's turned around a player, and we were penalised earlier for obstruction when Frankie Horn did the same thing. It is potential high tackle, so it's probably a fucking penalty try. How have we done this? So this is a high tackle, it's a penalty try. This is an absolute disaster class in the last 20 minutes. Right, Mornay Brandon. Yeah, it's around the shoulder. It's above the shoulder. It's gonna be a bloody penalty try. This is absolutely pathetic. To be in so control, and he's grounded anyway. Absolutely pathetic. All square. I mean, you guys were winning by 15 points with 2 yellow cards. Absolutely pathetic. Honestly is. And this is why we can't have nice things. This is why everyone's leaving us. You cannot play for 20 minutes at a time, chaps. Cannot play for 20 minutes at a time. As Kieran Horn has launched that very, very deep. Ah, so that's got to be forward. Surely. Surely. Backwards? No ways. I mean, what looked like a pretty obvious knock-on. Now Kieran Horn under a lot of pressure here. Needs some support. Line's all the way back on the halfway line with 5 minutes to go. Got to try and score next year, lads. Mornay van den Berg going to JP Smith. I really want to go back and look at that that kick gather, because that did not look like it went backwards. If it did, then fine, but I want to see it again. Mornay van den Berg goes to Morris Lowe. To Travis Gordon through half the gap. JP Smith. Popping up to Johnny Lombard. Mornay van den Berg to Manny Russ. Pretty predictable, man. You do it every single time, mate. Ron Dreyer. Jason Jenkins up quickly. Mornay van den Berg lifting it up. Yeah. Jaco Creel's running through. Prendergast Courtney gets it away. Yeah, he's just kicking away possession here, chaps. Good take from Johnny Lombard. Can't really afford to kick us into touch. Chaps shift to the right. Johnny Lombard, that is pathetic. Honestly, I would sub him now. How have you allowed them to get that 50-22? You were back. You saw it. You've just allowed to bounce right in front of you out in touch. Honestly, Leinster deserve to win. Actually, I almost hope they win. That attitude there is why we are competing in the playoffs and the final, and we're not in the playoffs. That is so unacceptable. That is so unacceptable. The kid's been, let's be honest, very poor the entire blooming game, and your Lions do that. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. You were 15 points ahead. They went down to 13 men. What have you done? You've let them come back, equalize, and now they're on the doorstep to potentially win the match. How? How? A complete overhaul is going to have to happen here. So many players not good enough. Attitude as well, not good enough. Frankie Horn doesn't deserve this. Well, it looks like it's been well defended, though, from the Maul, to be fair. And now Darren Landsberg's going over, getting his arms involved in that. Jason Jenkins now. This is going to only end one way. Unless they drop the ball, this is going to be a try for Leinster. You can just see it. They're on the brink here. Short again. This is ridiculous. Eleven phases. Go over the top. Sent back as well. Yeah, penalty advantage. For fuck's sakes, that's the game. That's absolutely pathetic. I might just turn the stream off. I'm actually fuming. That is absolutely pathetic. Yeah, it's an intercept. Oh yeah, typical Leinster fan to jump in the chat after your comeback and then ask how you not have a Leinster player for man of the match. Mate, come on. 15 minutes ago, you guys were trading by 15 points. Come here and start getting loud. You can see it says 40 minutes again. What bias and ungracious sport. Correct. Breaking news. Lions fan wants Lions to win. We'll probably slap it on the stream as well if I want. This guy. You can see when the poll was done. You can see this is a South African channel, a Lions fan covering the Lions game. Of course you're going to be salty. Come here with your what biased performance. It is biased performance. Of course it's biased. The fan channel here. Get with the program. Absolutely shambolic. Sack them all. Send them back to the Curry Cup. Send them back to the Varsity Cup. That is the most pathetic performance in the last 15 minutes I have ever seen from a Lions side. Ever. From a neutral, I'm sure that was great to watch. That is pathetic. Honestly, I'll play the Curry Cup side next weekend. How they've lost that game, I'm actually speechless. I can't even actually understand how they've lost that game. A disgrace to the jersey. A disgrace to the jersey. Now I would have played 15 minutes to get myself hyped up for a Stormers game. Ugh. This sucks. Entire weekend's ruined. Ruined, I say. Anyway, I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes for Stormers versus Munster, which should be quite a lot of fun. Please do smash like on the video. And I will see you guys.